They do indeed. All right, fuck it. We'll take it. All right. All right.
All right, you ready to roll?
Yep.
3, 2. Hello, D-Gens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I, of course, am the Brofict one, AJ. Joining me, as always, man with the number, sportsbook whisperer, college basketball guru, daddy of the diamond, all hail, the king of the links, the money train, Noah. How you doing tonight, bub?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. Been a long day, but always nice to just have so much going on to look forward to after the
Oh,
workday.
always. We are about to be in that sweet time, Noah. I mean, we're essentially in sports equinox light right now. Next week being like the true sports equinox with everything going on, but it's going to be good. Oh, I believe Saturday too. Saturday should be a sports equinox as well. We'll get into all of that. No, we got a
Yeah.
lot to talk about today. But before we go any further, do just want to take a moment, shout out to everyone watching here on Rumble, over on YouTube and X. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit those follow buttons. Does help us out a lot more than you know. And like I said, Noah, we do have a lot to talk about today. I mean, not only was there a murder on Twitter today between Russell Wilson and Sean Payton, which we will definitely dissect later, but a lot of
I missed that.
oh.
I caught a brief glimpse of some headline with Russell Wilson, but I didn't.
Oh,
see
don't look into it. Don't look into it. We are going to save that for later, and it is like just a murder on Twitter. It was awesome, but a lot in college football. NBA is starting, but I do want to go ahead and start with the World Series matchup that we will have coming up starting on Friday from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Blue Jays and the Dodgers getting the nod from the NL and the AL. Gonna be a hell of a matchup, but Noah, let's talk a little bit about how they got there, because again, yesterday I would say is just the reason why two of the most beautiful words you can hear in sports is Game 7. I mean, absolutely filled with drama, filled with home runs, filled with decisions. It was a dramatic and great way to end what was an awesome ALCS. The Mariners really looking like they were going to go ahead and drop 3 and then come back and win that fourth one, but unable to get the job done with the George Springer bottom of the 7th 3-run home run to put the Mariners away. And that was all she wrote, Noah. Blue Jays go ahead and make it to the World Series. Mariners still without a World Series appearance since their start in this league in 1977. It's been a minute, Noah. But before we talk about the Blue Jays, I do just want to say, shout out to this Mariners squad. I mean, this is a team. I guess they're not that young anymore, but they've been relatively a young, inexperienced team and have had to overcome that over the last couple of years. Last year was a shit show. I'm not even going to try to defend it, but they really came back and made a statement this year that they're here to stay, especially with those late moves, adding Suarez and adding Naylor. Awesome. I'm glad to see that they got to have success after getting traded from my Diamondbacks. But no, shout out to the Mariners, but the Blue Jays. Noah, never mind. Where do you want to start off with that? And then I'll get into my big brain questions.
Well, I'll start by saying shout out to both teams for making some really nice moves at the deadline.
True.
I think we ended up with these two teams where they are. Not that they weren't both already winning to begin with, but both of them made some real nice moves, fortifying their rosters right at the deadline. Mariners come so close. But one of those huge moves that I do want to talk about real quick. Spent almost 2 years away from the game after Tommy John's, but Shane Bieber, man.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, God, he's got, and it's that same filth that as a Twins fan haunts me because I've seen so many games where Twins batters are just routinely swinging at pitches way outside the zone, and the movement on Bieber's pitches is still there. I know when he got traded from Cleveland, he had just started up his minor league rehab assignments. But yeah, he's going to be a pivotal piece. The starting pitching as a whole that they've got there in Toronto is amazing. Not that Seattle's got bad starting pitching, but
no.
I think that was the big difference maker ultimately in this series, and it was a very exciting series. Whoever won that Game 7 would have been totally deserving of being in the World Series. So
Yeah.
I know it's tough, it's hard, Seattle. That sucks. You got so damn close. You felt like you should have had it, especially after taking 2 in Toronto to start the series, and just fall just short, just a couple innings short. So, um, it's tough, but I think they'll have a real nice competitive team here for the next couple of years at least. So they got that going for them. But yeah, Toronto on the other hand, I mean they look pretty damn good all season. They added some pieces, like I said, at the deadline, and they look the part. Like this isn't a fluky reason. What they finished with the top record in the American League, right?
Yes, that does sound correct.
Yeah, so they got hot down the stretch last third of the season, just after the All-Star break as a whole, and they've continued that momentum. And again, they absolutely look the part of a World Series team. I don't think we're going to see another boring ass series like the NLCS was.
Ooh. Well, let's talk about that real quick, because the Dodgers just go ahead and sweep the Brewers like they are, a splattered bug on a windshield. That's essentially what happens there. But it also does help when your, $500 million man goes out, hits 3 home runs, and has 10 Ks on the night as well. Let me say that stat line again. 3 home runs and 10 Ks on the night from Mr. Shohei Ohtani himself. The $500 million man goes out and proved why he is worth every single dollar. And Noah, again, I absolutely love baseball writers, because Shohei Ohtani can go out there, throw 3 home runs hit 3 home runs and throw 10 Ks. And you're still going to get at least one asshole who comes out of the MLB writers room and says, not that impressive. What are we talking about? 3 home runs and 10 Ks? You remember what, Shoeless Joe did back in the day? Or, X person from the 1903 World Series Black Sox? I mean, don't get me wrong, and it's littered across the sports world, these angry old white people who just can't accept that athletes are fucking incredible today, and they have to, well, back in my day, we had, shut up, retire, go to your third beach house and let us take over, okay? Because that was one of the most incredible outings from not only a pitcher, from a hitter, from a player in a playoff performance, in a send the game, send the series home. Let's end it here in my lifetime. Seriously. And I watched the 0-1 D-backs. That was unbelievable, and something that we only might get to see again because Shohei Ohtani is contractually obligated to play 8 more years with the Dodgers.
Yeah, I wish it was for any other fucking team.
Any other team. And I will say, shout out to the man who tweeted, like, someone tweeted out, like, how is Canada America's team this year? And this guy came out and said, if the Dodgers were playing the Taliban, I would wear a burqa to the stadium. Like, people hate how much money the Dodgers spend. They hate how good they are. Anyway, I'm sorry. No, I cut you off there.
No, you're good. Yeah, it's annoying. People are sick and tired of the fucking Dodgers. And so it's even crazy enough to the point where, like, you got Dodgers Yankees, and you had a majority of people cheering for the Yankees. That's probably the only time that's ever going to happen, is when they're playing the goddamn Dodgers. I literally, everybody outside of Dodgers fans should be and probably will be pulling for Toronto to win the series here.
I will say I'm not. I'm rooting for the Dodgers. I am absolutely rooting for the Dodgers this year, Noah. And I'm rooting for the Dodgers for a couple of reasons. One, since Shohei Ohtani signed with the Dodgers after the D-backs made their World Series run, the D-backs have spent money. The team has been better. There have been more butts in seats. Yes, our pitching staff is on Tommy John, but that is, injuries. You can't do shit about injuries.
Literally the whole pitching staff.
Literally, the whole pitching staff is on Tommy John. Tariq Skubal and the Tigers are apparently $250 million off from contract talks. Please, D-backs, let's go ahead and make a call into the Tigers and trade someone away.
See, here's the thing, though. The D-backs, yes, they have increased their spending. I still don't think they're at – I don't think they're competitive in the market for a guy like Skubal.
I agree.
Like,
I'm, again,
like
wet dreams and everything like that. Like, I'm allowed to dream.
Yeah, they may be spending money. There's no way the D-backs are forking up that kind of money for one single player.
But
He's
also,
going to, he's going to one of about 6 teams because that's what fucking happens every time this happens. Is you got obviously the Dodgers are going to make a run for that. Probably the Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, maybe the Phillies,
maybe. But
it's
again,
it's a short list of. Yeah, it's a short list of teams.
But regardless, my point with the D-backs, and yes, we're in their division and everything like that, but it made us spend more money. Oh shit, if we want to be competitive in this division whatsoever for the next 10 years, we're going to need to spend a little bit more than league minimum in order to have a competitive roster. And the D-backs woke up to that. The rest of the league is slowly waking up to that, but I think it would improve if the Dodgers go back to back with the most expensive roster in the MLB. I do think the salary floor talks start to come up a little bit more in the negotiations. And it's not just a salary cap, it's a salary floor that is now being implemented over the salary cap, like we've talked about at length, Noah. And I think the Dodgers winning helps that. Because what we're going to see in the offseason then is all of these teams going back out and spending all of this money on all of these players. And in order to beat the Dodgers and catch up to the Dodgers. And it's starting to go that way, that you got to spend the money. And hopefully it prices some of these cheap owners out of the market, but who knows what actually happens.
I would love nothing fucking
I know you would.
As now on the flip side of that, the Twins see this and say, how about we spend less money?
Exactly. Exactly. We can't beat them. We're going to save up for the next 10 years.
They're like, oh, damn. Well, if we're going to have less fans in the seats, less season tickets sold, we should probably cut down on our roster costs. Instead of like, oh, let's have a better team and spend more money so that more fans want to come to the games. It's like, no. How about let's sell off the entire team one player at a time.
Do it.
Now, unfortunately, none of them went to the Dodgers. But we got a couple former Twins now on the Blue Jays. I don't think any of them went to the Mariners, but we got a couple guys I like from the Twins on the Blue Jays roster, so.
But, I mean, Noah, let's talk World Series action here. Dodgers, huh?
Oh, sorry, just real quick before we get in that. I was going to say, ideal situation would have been probably Blue Jays, Phillies in the World Series, because then I'd have like 4 or 5 players from this year's Twins team on that, and then the Twins should just hang a banner if that was the case, because be like, look, we sent 5 guys to the World Series.
Congratulations, you're the farm system for the league. Thank you, guys. But let's talk World Series, Noah. I mean, Dodgers big favorites coming into this one, -260, varying at sportsbooks, but hanging around mostly that 260-ish number. Blue Jays +220 on this one. It is, I believe, if I read my notes right, starting in. Hold up. Yeah, this is opening in Toronto. Toronto is opening up as a home dog early in this. And Noah, I mean, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Clayton Kershaw. Where's the bullpen day there?
That's stupid as fuck.
Where's the bullpen day?
Although, do give some respect to the starting rotation of the Blue Jays, because
I was about to, Noah. I was about to say, don't get me wrong. Kevin Gausman, Shane Bieber, Trey Yesovich. I'm sorry, I always butcher that name. Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett. Not something you want to go ahead and wag your finger at either, Noah. We are dealing. I know this is wild because
25 to 27, 28 teams. I mean, like that Blue Jays rotation right now. Scherzer's, he's not what he was at the peak of his career, but he's pitching well. Bieber's the huge part there, because that's just, they got him for a bag of peanuts, and you didn't know what you were going to get, because when they made that trade, he had only made a couple minor league starts in Double-A, hadn't pitched in a major league game in 2 years, and then the dude comes out and he's just throwing a sub-3 ERA.
Yeah. I mean, listen, these guys, this is one of the more competitive bullpen, starting rotation matchups we've seen in the World Series in a while. And even last year with Yankees Dodgers, it felt like the Dodgers still just felt like they overwhelmingly had not only a better rotation but a better bullpen. And so I this is the first time in the last year that it feels like we have a really solid pitching matchup in this one on both sides. Every night is going to be like a pitching duel. Luckily, both teams have the bats to back it up. Noah, do you want to start with the Blue Jays? Let's start with the Blue Jays. Let's give a shout out to, I don't know if you've heard of him, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vladdy.
Well, he's only hitting, 400 something this playoffs?
Shit, only 400. Yeah, that sounds about right. Just under 500. I mean, if he was hitting 500, then maybe we could talk about an ALCS MVP. Oh, wait, didn't he? Didn't. Oh, shit, my bad. But then, I mean, Ernie Clement is hitting well. Addison Barger is hitting well. George Springer obviously hitting very well. Dalton Varsho is a guy that can get hot when he needs to. Huh?
Springer, by the way, now is up to third place all time in playoff home runs?
Yes, with was it playoff home runs or was it playoff go ahead home runs?
No, playoff home runs. Career home runs in the playoffs. I think he's up to 8. I think they're 8, 15, 18, 9. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
it's in the mid to high teens, and he moved up with that one into either tied third or solo third. I forget which one it was, but I mean, damn, all those seasons with the Astros making deep runs will give you the games to do that.
I'll do that for you. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But then, Noah, of course, let's go ahead and go over to, let's just call it the home run derby roster for the Dodgers. Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Tommy Edman, Max Muncy, Mookie Betts, Enrique Hernandez, Andy Pages, Tiescar. Fuck.
Tiesto?
Teoscar Hernandez, Shohei Ohtani. Fuck you, Noah. And then a bench just to back it up. I mean, this is going to be a competitive series. The book has its feelings, obviously, and I think that's got to come more from the betting than anything because looking at the rosters, looking at their body of work over the season, it feels like it should be, don't get me wrong, Dodgers favored in this series, but I have them more in the 150 to 175 range instead of this 225 range we're speaking at. But, still heavily favored, but maybe not at that 220 number.
You also have to think about the fact, too, I don't think sports gambling is legal in Canada. Or if it is, it's
not legal in LA either.
Touchy. Right, but you've got so many surrounding states where they're there's a shit ton of Dodgers fans out here in Arizona. There's a shit ton in, Nevada, Vegas area.
True.
Kind of whole West Coast, you got a lot of Dodgers fans. And you got Dodgers fans everywhere. They're just one of those teams. But I maybe factor that in a little bit. I don't know if it's a huge factor, but I do think I haven't seen where the numbers are at. But, yeah, those odds may be swayed based on maybe not necessarily where the books have gotten bets in so far, but maybe more so where they anticipate those numbers coming in. And they probably do anticipate a lot more money coming in on the Dodgers. So
no, and fair enough. And, it's Tuesday. We're recording this and World Series starts Friday. 72% of the bets, 95% of the money on Dodgers minus 150 to win that game.
Oh, that's just the first game.
Just for that game. Yeah. I don't get odds on series betting.
I think the Dodgers probably win this series, but
yeah,
I might take an over on the total number of games in this series, though. Because I bet that's sitting at either 5.5 at a minus 200 clip or over. I don't know if it's less than minus 200 for over 5.5 games. I might be all over that for this to go at least 6.
Dodgers minus 1.5 at minus 125.
Minus 1.5.
Oh, I am sorry. That is just series spread. You're looking for...
Yeah.
My bad. I misunderstood. I'm not finding it on my book.
What was the Blue Jays at then for plus 1.5?
Plus 1.5 at plus 105.
So that would be plus 105 for them to either win the series or lose in 7.
Yes.
That might be tempting.
That's tempting. Now... Interesting line that's posted here. Blue Jays minus 2.5 series betting at plus 800. Dodgers minus 116 at minus 1,600, excuse me, at plus 2.5.
Yeah, if you're confident enough in the Blue Jays to win this one 4-1, go for it, I guess. But you ain't gonna be catching me putting my money on that.
They have a holy shit, dude. You got to check this out. They have a whole section just called Ohtani Specials. It is Shohei Ohtani have a leadoff home run. Shohei Ohtani to record 7+ RBIs, have 10+ hits.
Do they have? Is there any of those quick back the bet things where like on DraftKings and some books they have the celebrities put out their picks and you can just tail them?
No, Caesars doesn't do that. Oh, shit. I got it now.
Yeah. I was just wondering if I could tail Ohtani's bets on this.
Allegedly, we would need Ipe. Noah, allegedly, we would need Ipe.
Bring back Ipe. How do you think he's doing?
Free my boy Ipe. Bro, I doubt Ipe went to jail. I think Shohei Ohtani, there's probably some backroom deal where like he got, from the courtroom to the jailhouse, and the jailhouse was a private jet back to Japan, where he's just living it up in his mansion that he made with all of Shohei's gambling winnings from a different bookie.
But Shohei owns the mansion.
Yeah.
Ipe's just living there.
Yeah, Ipe's just living there. Just living there. That is still such a wild story. Wild story.
You think Ipe still has the passwords and everything to Shohei's bank accounts?
I would assume his new translator changed it, or maybe Shohei himself changed it.
Shohei said, "Sorry, Ipe, I can't give you access to my bank accounts anymore.
I just can't do it, dude. I can't do it. But I'll keep sending you my picks for the day. We'll just keep that going." Anyway, Noah, I'm excited. Going to be a good World Series. I'm with you. I think the Dodgers probably take this one. I do think we probably get 5 or 6 games out of this one. I think the Blue Jays can at least get one, especially opening up at home.
I'm fairly confident that we will get at least 6 games. I do think this Blue Jays team is good enough that they're going to take at least 2.
I agree. I agree with that. No, anything else on the MLB?
No, that starts Friday.
Yes, sir. Friday from Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. McCormick in the chat. What is good, bro? Just so you know, McCormick, just for you. I hit together a little anytime touchdown parlay this weekend. Small one, but still hit a little one just for you, buddy. Well, Noah, as we are coming to the end of the MLB season, we do have another one starting tonight that I know you have been just so excited for. You have been telling me night and day, AJ, 24 hours, 46 hours, 72 hours. The NBA is back, and Noah, it is all the way back. Road Dogg's back too. What is good, brother?
I thought they just had the finals.
Yeah, dude, it's been a whole 2 months. It's been a whole 2 months since their season ended. We didn't have the Olympics this year, so that's why it feels like it was shorter.
Didn't Vegas just beat Phoenix and swept them in the finals?
No, that would be the WNBA. No, that'd be the WNBA ends, so the NBA season can start. But I guess we should shout out the Vegas.
I get confused because I watch them about the same amount.
Oh, take that, NBA. Adam Silver, I hope you're listening. Yeah, dude. Shout out to the Aces. Forgot about that, Noah. Thank you for reminding me. Them winning back-to-back, right?
Yeah, third and 4 years, I think.
3rd and 4 years because the Liberty won one.
Yeah, so it was back-to-back, and then also their 3rd in 4 years, which, hey, good for them. I think there's about 8. There are only like 8 teams in the WNBA, though.
I believe it's up to 16 now, and they're looking to add 4 more. Again, Philly is going to get a WNBA team. That's going to go great.
I guess that's a little bit more competitive. I was sitting here still thinking there were like 8 or 10 teams.
No, there are more than 10 WNBA teams.
I feel like it's that meme with puts about as much weight on that as a XFL title.
Oh, shit. Well, Mark Davis. I think Mark Davis now amongst NFL owners has the most championships.
Definitely the most WNBA titles.
And that's our WNBA talk for the day. Hope you all enjoyed that. But no, NBA starting today. Not one of the bigger things we cover. I mean, there's a lot more drama that goes on in the NBA. It feels more like a reality show and everything. And I mean, Adam Silver earlier this year told me not to watch it and to just watch highlights. So if that's what the commissioner's telling me to do, I'm going to listen to the commish, right?
Well, he'd know better than anybody.
He would. But I mean, just a couple of things I want to cover going into the season. Obviously, we have a lot of injuries going on in the NBA, with a lot of big stars out for most of this season with Achilles injuries, but some big signings happening as well, or extensions, I guess could say. Pacers lock up Aaron Naismith for a 2-year deal, $40.4 million contract extension. So this will go through 28-29. They lock up a big defensive help on their roster. And then Kevin Durant also signs a 2-year extension with the Rockets before the season started. His first season going in with them as they're playing the Oklahoma City Thunder right now, Noah.
Yeah. The NBA is interesting to me because, I mean, they love paying just mid players a shit ton of money. Like no other league pays just role players or even bench players anywhere near the amount of money that the NBA does. And I know that roster sizes are a lot smaller. You only got 5 guys out there at a time, versus NFL, you got 22 guys if you're looking at starters on both sides of the ball. Baseball, obviously, you got your pitching staff plus your batting lineup, and you're sitting at about 20-ish there as well, give or take. And then hockey, you're playing multiple lines deep, so there's more guys involved. But it's crazy. I mean, so long as you're good enough to be the 4th or 5th guy on a starting lineup in the NBA, I mean, you're making 20, 30 mil a year at least.
Well, shit, Ben Simmons is still playing basketball.
But that's what's crazy to me, right? Is if you're just a role player who's good enough to crack a starting 5 in the NBA, you're getting paid the same amount as the top 3 to 5 cornerbacks or safeties are in the NFL. And you're getting paid a double or triple what the best players in the NHL are making.
It's not fair.
Which I know it is what it is. There's a lot of money involved with that, but it's just so funny to think about, right? You could be, say if you're the 95th best player in the NBA, you're probably making 20, 25 mil a year, maybe even 30 if you got a good agent who works out a nice contract. And now divide that by 5 with the amount of positions there are, and so say you're 18th or 20th best at your position, and you're making that kind of money. You're 18th or 20th best in your position in the NFL or something like that. You ain't touching that unless you're the 18th or 20th best quarterback. Then you probably are. But outside of quarterback or maybe edge rusher, that ain't the case.
Yeah. I mean, they pay a shit ton of money to not do a lot, and for a regular season, that doesn't matter. But Noah, don't worry. Right around the corner is the Emirates NBA World Cup or whatever the hell they call it. So
yeah.
We do have that to look forward to. Noah, don't you worry, McCormick. Yeah, Trey McBride, anytime touchdown all day. Well, no, I think Kyler's back this week. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Fucking
no more Jacoby.
I mean, we had a good 2 weeks. I miss him already. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we could have had a beautiful thing, but anyway. Anything else in the NBA, Noah?
No, there are 2 games tonight.
All of them tomorrow.
I assume plenty more games the rest of the next 3 to 4 months.
Yes. So again, you got to remember that they have this new thing where NBC and Peacock are one night, Amazon's one night, ESPN's one night, and so
they're grasping for straws. So
yeah. 3 months. If I sign up for DraftKings for NBA League Pass, huh?
Oh yeah,
time to get a fake ID.
I was like, they got a thing. It's not even that. They were offering. What did I have here? if I place $20 or more in NBA same game parlay or same game parlay, same game X parlays, then I get 3 months of League Pass for free.
A
Now,
$20 parlay.
problem with that is 3 months of League Pass for me is worth less than that.
Won't even pay $20 for League Pass. What has the league come to? Luckily, Noah.
If you're an NBA fan, that's probably worth it. But
true. But luckily, Noah, we do have college basketball starting right around the corner. We'll have to do a preview of that in the next couple of weeks. Sweet, dude. You ready to talk some football?
Yes, sir.
Dude, well, let's go ahead and get started with the... it's gotten a little bit better. Still not stoked on it. I still think it's a joke. I'm ready for the CFP to take over. It should be coming up next week, right? Or is it the week after next?
We're not far out.
Well, can't come soon enough, Noah, because those bums at the AP put out another poll. And I'm more interested to hear about you say. So we'll kind of do what we did last week. I'll run through a couple of numbers. You'll give me a couple of numbers, and we'll keep going. All right?
Sounds good. I think I did forget to tweet out my top 25 this week, but
I did not see it this weekend. So
I did put it together. I was a little preoccupied. Normally I do that Sunday morning. I was out tailgating, spending quite a bit of commute time getting out to Glendale to State Farm Stadium, and then tailgating a little bit, which got cut way short because it took way longer than I was expecting to get there. Either way.
Always does. Anyway.
I was a little preoccupied on Sunday, so I didn't get that tweet out, but I still did make my top 25.
Let's get to it. No, at number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Indiana. Number 3, Texas A&M. Number 4, Alabama. Number 5, Georgia. What does your top 5 look like?
My top 5 looks identical to the APs for the first time this season.
Wow.
Yep, I got Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Bama, and Georgia. As much as it pained me to move Bama and Georgia, actually, I think Bama has earned it being in the top 5 right now. Georgia, I didn't really want to, but I couldn't justify putting anybody else in there instead of Georgia.
I would agree. No, I would agree. Georgia had to kind of go there at 5. I have no problem with the rest of the top 5 there.
Yeah, top 3 to me is completely 100% cut and dry. I would even say Bama at 4 is pretty cut and dry as well.
I will say, Noah, there was part of me that was expecting the AP to put a 6-1 Bama team ahead of a 7-0 Indiana team. There was just part of me that was expecting that. But that's just my lack of faith in the AP. You know how that goes. So let's go ahead. Keep it going, Noah, through the top 10 since we have no issues with the top 5. Number 6, Oregon. Number 7, Georgia Tech. Number 8, Ole Miss. 9, Miami. 10, Vandy making an appearance for the first time since 73? Something like that?
Something crazy like that. This is where it all falls apart for me.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Oregon, I'm not too mad about. I got Oregon at 7, so I'm not far off there. I got Notre Dame up at 6.
Yep.
And that is a benefit for Notre Dame of if they just keep plugging away and keep winning, teams in front of them will lose games, and they'll be just fine. I know the AP's got them at 12, but I got them all the way up at 6. Again, they're literally 2 plays away from being undefeated. If they were, they'd be in the top 4, maybe the top 3, maybe the top 2. I don't know where they would fall if they had wins over Miami and A&M. Oh, obviously A&M wouldn't be there. So an undefeated Notre Dame team is 100% top 3. I don't know. But I never got as down on Notre Dame after starting 0-2 as a lot of people did. But yeah, they're at 6 for me. I think it's a damn good team. And I think they're figuring shit out too.
Road Dog, quote unquote, says you are craw for Notre Dame at 6.
Well, Road Dog, we'll see how this season plays out, man.
Who will have the Irish beaten, he says.
I beat a good USC team.
And yeah, McCormick, are we not, Road Dog, are we not supposed to be hype on USC anymore?
Well, they also put absolute fucking belt to ass to Arkansas, who is playing all these other top 25 SEC teams close.
True.
So, there's that. But, no, I got a lot of faith in Notre Dame. And my rankings aren't perfect. I've been wrong before, but that's where I see it right now. Oklahoma, I've got them at 8. I've got Oklahoma at 8.
Okay.
maybe I shouldn't have them as high. I don't know. I keep flipping back and forth because I can't figure out what it like. I have a number of teams that I'm so thrown off by because of fucking Michigan. Because week in and week out, I can't tell if Michigan's good or trash.
I think Michigan kind of flips a coin and goes into the week thinking that too. No, are we going to be good or trash this week? Fuck, it's heads.
But yeah, Georgia Tech at 7 is laughable to me. I know they're 7-0. I finally come to terms with like having them in my top 25. Who has Georgia Tech beat?
Noah, they've beat Virginia Tech, which remember a couple of years ago they were really good.
Their best
they beat Wake Forest on the road by 1 point. Noah,
their two best wins are at Wake Forest and at Duke.
Noah,
I know they haven't lost, but their third best win is like at Colorado, which Colorado's not even good.
No. Their third best win is when Clemson was ranked for some reason and they beat them 24-21. That was their third best win. Their first best win is Temple 45-24, brother. Oh.
Yeah, no, the ACC is a fucking joke, and I refuse to have Georgia Tech anywhere sniffing my top 10 or 12. So, yeah, I've got them all the way down at 18. I did move them up some spots this week, but they're still sitting all the way down at 18 at an undefeated record because they have not played anybody. They will not really play anybody all season. It's a fucking joke.
No, and the craziest thing to me, Noah, is of all of the ACC teams to get hyped about, the AP just jumped on Georgia Tech and was like, oh, okay, no, Georgia Tech is 6-7-0. Yeah, they obviously are number 7 in the country, and they could beat an SEC team this week.
Yeah, well, if Memphis didn't fuck around and lose to UAB, Memphis had a more impressive 7-0. Like, if Memphis didn't lose, they would have had a more impressive 7-0 record than Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech still would have been ranked up here at 7, and Memphis would have been maybe at like 19 or 20, which is a joke because, again, Georgia Tech has had the biggest fucking candy-ass schedule. They really don't play anybody. I forget if they have Miami on the schedule or not. But until they play like at Georgia the last week of the season. And so here's my thing. If they go 11-1, and that one loss is to Georgia to end the season, I don't think they deserve to be in the playoffs. If this team doesn't go 12-0 in the regular season, I don't think they deserve to be in there. They don't pass the eye test. I don't see it as whatever. I think Ole Miss sitting at 8 still is crazy to me. I know they're 6-1. They just took their first loss. They lost to Georgia, whatever. Georgia's ranked 5. It's not pretty. They don't pass the eye test. So I have them.
I think Ole Miss is going to start losing. Feels like Lane Kiffin's out the door.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see about that. I think they're about a 50-50 shot to make the playoffs for me at this point. Like I don't think it's by any means a lock. Certain people have them all the way up at like as high as 6 still. I'm like, that's absurd to me.
Do you give any credibility? Sorry, finish up.
Well, what has Ole Miss done? Other than
I agree.
They beat LSU, but
they did.
LSU's fast tracking their way to about a 7-5, 6-6 record. So I don't think that really fucking matters.
They beat Washington State by 3. Let's not forget that.
Well, and then who did Washington State play this last week?
I don't remember. Enlighten me.
Maybe we should stop ranking so many SEC teams because maybe they're just fucking mid because 2 of them have struggled to beat Washington State 2 weeks in a row at home. Like.
So do you give any validity, any credit to the reports coming out that's saying that like Lane Kiffin is, considering probably like that Florida job or just any other job besides Ole Miss right now?
I think it's a stretch for Florida. I do think it's a greater than 0 chance, but I don't technically it should be a slight step, like a half step up from Ole Miss, but it's like, do you uproot what you've built at Ole Miss with that program to take a half a step up at Florida? It's a hard move to justify it. We've seen it happen before, but I give it probably less than a 20% chance that he would leave for Florida unless they were paying him some ungodly amount of money.
And if you're getting paid an ungodly amount of money, that buyout's got to be worth half a fortune. So just think about that.
They did blow out Tulane, yeah. But Road Dog, I'm not giving.
I'm sorry. You want me to get excited about it blowing out Tulane, Road Dog? That you want me to get excited about that for Ole Miss? Like, don't get me wrong. I like this Tulane team. I like what Retzloff has done with them. But you want me to get excited about that?
It's more impressive than barely beating Arkansas.
I guess. Fuck. But again, we're having these conversations.
Didn't they struggle against Arkansas too?
Yeah, they did. They looked awful against Arkansas. They shouldn't have won that football game. But again, Noah, here we are talking, like, grasping at straws. And Road Dog, I get it. Tulane is a good squad. I'm not trying to discount what they do. But
and Kentucky, like, two of the worst teams in the SEC, they couldn't beat them by more than a touchdown.
But it's the SEC. No, it's different down here. It's different down here, Noah.
And then, like I said, then they beat LSU by 10, and LSU's looking worse and worse week in and week out. Which, goddamn, I still have LSU in my top 20 for unknown reasons. I don't even know how I justified that. But, anyways,
all right, Road Dog, invalid argument. Just invalid.
I dropped my 2-3 from. From last week down to 9-10. I had Miami 2, Texas Tech 3 last week. They both lost. I took Texas Tech down to 9 and Miami down to 10. I think Louisville's a decent team. ASU's definitely decent when they're on. Man, that was tough.
I know.
But, yeah, I'm still keeping Texas Tech right inside of my top 10. I think this might be their only loss of the regular season at ASU. I mean, you're playing a feisty team on the road. Things can happen. Miami was at home, I believe, so I gave them a little less grace. And, it was all laid out in front of you if you're Miami, right? Yeah. Just do what you're supposed to do. You win all the fucking games. You're sitting with a top 4 seed. But they couldn't do that.
Nope.
They couldn't do it. Carson Beck goes out, throws 4 interceptions, starts blaming receivers for his interceptions, saying, it wasn't me. He didn't run the right route. So either way, somehow I still have Miami at 10. I probably should have dropped them more. Texas Tech, I'm fine with at 9. They'll bounce back just fine from this close loss at ASU. I will say Big 12, maybe let's stop worrying so much about fucking tortillas being thrown and worry about goalposts coming down and nearly hitting fans and players that are on the field.
No. The tortillas need to be dealt with, okay?
By some grace of God, that goalpost did not hit any of the fans who were rushing the field. It did not hit any of the players that were still out there on the field. But that could have been real fucking bad. I would expect, nothing less out of Arizona State, but that could have been a really bad result there. Again, thank God that nobody got hit by that goalpost, nobody got injured, but clearly, and the Big 12 didn't really have any response to that. But we're clearly more worried about fucking tortillas than we are about.
It's a $100K fine now. I mean, that's unreal. $100K fine for tortillas, Noah, for tortillas. But let's go ahead and kill a staff member and player. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
ASU innovating new ways to fuck around.
BYU might have the edge because they cannot throw tortillas on the field.
That's true. No, let's go ahead and you finish out your top 10, right?
Yeah, that's what I had there. Oklahoma Ole Miss game is going to be really interesting. Like I said, I've got Ole Miss all the way down at 16. I've got Oklahoma all the way up at 8. A little kind of reversal of what the AP's got the two teams at. But that's going to get all settled on the field on Saturday.
That it will. Noah, let's go ahead. BYU at 11, Notre Dame at 12, Oklahoma 13, Texas Tech at 14, Missouri at 15. Noah, break it down for me.
Well, I've talked about 3 of those teams already that the AP's got in there. BYU I have at 12, so about the same spot. Vandy I have at 11, so I'm just got each of them one spot lower than the AP does. So Vandy's looked really impressive. As Bama keeps beating other ranked teams, that Vandy loss at Bama looks less and less bad. Not that it looked bad to begin with. They were totally in that game for most of it. That score was not reflective of how that game went. Vandy's going to have a few more great opportunities against ranked SEC teams to take care of business and really, really prove their worth there. But They got past LSU, did it just fine at home, looking pretty. BYU continuing to stay undefeated and continuing to not do it so pretty, but winning games.
Noah, it is so ugly. It is so ugly. And I watched the BYU game last week, and I was like, all right, I'll pull an old college trick. I'll have a couple beers and see how this team looks. And had a couple beers, and it still looked fucking ugly. Like I don't think there's a lot that can help it.
No,
like
they do a lot of things. So my take there is BYU does a lot of things really well. They just don't do everything really well, and they don't do everything well on a consistent basis. Now,
yes.
it has amounted to getting wins, but it feels like every time they play a decent team, they're playing with fire. And they have yet to get burned, and they're off to a 7-0 start, so they're sitting in really good position.
They feel like they're in a very good, you don't know what you don't know kind of situation.
But it could just be one of those teams that, unranked coming into the season or whatever, and there's one or two of these teams every year that go off and win 10, 11, even 12 games in their conference, and they were not projected to even be in the top 3 or 4 teams. And BYU, they could be there. I mean, Utah's really tough. It's a great win for BYU in a big rivalry game, and it's one of the toughest games on their schedule, and they got that out of the way. So they're sitting at 7-0. So there's a lot to be looking forward to there. Road Dog, you got to watch your mouth there, man.
The best part was he tried correcting himself.
All right, you're just doubling down. Just doubling down too. Road Dog's like, I said it, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it twice more.
And I'm gonna put an asterisk so I meant it. Oh God Almighty, that's awesome. Anyway,
for the top 15, I got Mizzou up at 14. I don't know how I feel about that. It's so funny because you look at so many of these SEC teams.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you have 1 or 2 losses, but there's no good, like so many of these teams, there is no good wins. Like, your overall record looks good, but like you look at Missouri, what's their best win? Kansas?
Yeah. No,
and they played Bama tough. I mean, you had a close loss to Bama at home. It's not that impressive, and so I mean, I got him at 14 just for lack of having anybody else that I felt like putting in there. And then this might be my biggest sway from like what the AP's got, but I got Illinois at 15. I thought they got punished way too much for losing to checks notes. Oh, the top 2 teams in the fucking country, and they got dropped out of the rankings for that. They're gonna be favored and they're gonna win the rest of their goddamn games this season. Illinois will.
Yeah, I agree. And real quick on Mizzou, Noah, like I agree with you, and I think the SEC really f's it up for a team like Mizzou, where we're kind of told they're good, and they look fine and everything, and their loss isn't that bad, but are they actually that good? And then they get maybe overvalued, overpriced, and then they take an L this weekend to Vandy, and they're probably, they're not dropping that much, but game day by
it's good. The crazy thing is they somehow go and lose to Vandy. Mizzou's going to stay in the top 25.
Yeah.
And again, they don't really have any good wins on their schedule.
No.
But somehow a 2-loss SEC team with no good wins, i.e. Tennessee, is just going to hang around in the top 25 because that's apparently what we fucking do.
That's what we do here at Mizzou. That's what we do. No,
I meant in general, like the AP, any voters. It's like
I know,
and I even find myself succumbing to this. I should just be stricter on like just dropping these fucking teams out. Problem is, then I start looking at who am I going to have ranked above them.
Yeah,
it's hard, but
it does. Well, let's keep it moving, Noah, because the AP has Virginia at 16. Tennessee is still ranked at 17. South Florida at 18, Louisville at 19, LSU at 20, Noah.
Yeah, well, you know where I have Virginia?
Please let me know.
And for that matter, actually, Virginia and Tennessee, 16-17 in the AP poll.
Okay, can I guess?
I got no funny number next to either of them.
Really? No funny number?
No, I don't think either of these teams deserve to be
What
ranked.
what about an HM? You got an HM next to their name?
They're both sitting there in my honorable mention on the radar type of teams. I usually keep a running list of about 7 to 10 teams that are like, okay, I want to see how they do in the upcoming weeks. But yeah, Tennessee, they're out of my top 25. Virginia, never been in, and I still don't think they've earned it. I mean, back-to-back overtime or double overtime wins against shitty ACC teams is not enough for me to say, oh, okay, 6-1 Virginia, yeah, they're good. No, get the fuck out of here.
But their only losses to NC State, Noah.
Yeah, whatever. I got Ole Miss at 16. I got LSU at 17. I guess I gave them a little more grace than I probably should, because I should probably drop them completely out too. Like I talked about earlier, I got Georgia Tech at 18. I know they're 7-0. That's the only reason they're in my top 25 is because they haven't lost a game, but they don't impress me. I skipped a team. I totally skipped a team, AJ. I got USF at 13, by the way. I'm seeing them there at 18. I totally breezed past them on accident. Yeah, USF's number 13 on my rankings. And then top 20, I got Cincinnati up to 19 this week. They've actually looked impressive to me.
Yeah, I would agree.
They've looked impressive to me. I don't know how a 6-1 Cincinnati team who's got a better strength of schedule, better strength of record than these ACC teams is sitting below a couple of them. Louisville obviously taking the jump all the way up to 19 from not ranked because they beat Miami. Yeah, I don't know. And then I got Utah at 20. I think I had them at 15 last week. I only dropped them to 5 spots. They lose on the road in Provo, which we know is a really fucking tough place to play, by 3 in a game that they could have won if a couple things went differently. So I wasn't going to penalize Utah too much. I got them still sitting steady at 20.
I like it, Noah. What do you think of McCormick saying Tennessee deserves a spot unlike ASU? I thought you were meaning ASU doesn't deserve a spot. Never mind, McCormick. But yeah, I mean, if you want to compare the two, I think ASU deserved the bye last year more than Tennessee deserves a top 25 spot this year.
I mean,
if you want to compare the two.
ASU got lucky; they won the Big 12 championship, but they fixed that with ASU would have been last year. They would have been either the 11 or 12 seed in that if we were under current year rules. So
yeah,
I think they fixed that quickly after 1 year. We're still in the learning curve of the playoff, figuring out how that works. But yeah, I will die on the hill that I don't 5-2 Tennessee, and like you ain't beat anybody. You've struggled against the bottom, a couple of the bottom 4 teams in the SEC. Can't even put them away by more than 1 score. And then can't win the big game. It's like, oh, whatever, went to overtime or whatever against Georgia. That's the most impressive thing on their schedule is they went to Georgia to overtime.
Oh, McCormick, I agree with you. ASU doesn't deserve to be ranked. I'm not trying to argue that ASU deserves to be ranked whatsoever. Tennessee doesn't deserve to be ranked either. Not yet. McCormick showing his SEC bias. Look at that. Oh, look at that. As ASU played Georgia, Bama, LSU. Oh, there's the SEC bias, McCormick. All right. You had me fooled there for a little bit.
But you're going to hate this then, McCormick, because I got ASU. I got ASU at 21. Impressive win. And a big part of that is because of the amount of respect I have for Texas Tech and how good I think Texas Tech is. For ASU to hold them to field goals for basically the entire first half against that high-powered offense. The ASU defense came through. Game got real close at the end, but they were able to hang on because they were allowing field goals and not touchdowns. Do I expect too much out of ASU? No, I have never. 21 is the highest I've had them all season. I've had them, feels like every week, in and out of the top 25. But that's kind of what this team feels like. They feel like a fringe top 25 team, and they will continue to be so.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and then I had to give Louisville the graces for knocking off a really highly ranked Miami team. I did put them at 22, sitting at
Respectable.
5-1. Give them a little bit of flowers. I got Texas at 23, USC and Michigan rounding out my top 25 there. I did
Oh, we lost Noah. We lost the money train. I am sure he'll be back in just a moment. But, I will say, I do understand, the AP throwing Illinois, Arizona State, and Michigan back in there. As Noah was saying, Arizona State with an impressive win. The defense looking really good. And I want to give some flowers to Sam Levitt. I've been very harsh on him for the last 2 seasons, and I think he's still I think he's a better quarterback and is slowly becoming a better quarterback. Yeah, Road Dog, you can take that up with him. I personally don't have USC in my rankings. I don't really have rankings. I kind of flow like a fluid rankings. I really lock it down when we get to college football rankings when it actually matters. Like I have such a hard time taking the AP seriously, especially after this season. But I oh, McCormick, no, I do respect his opinion most of the time. I'm not excited to talk about the Packers Cardinals game with him here in a moment, but I'm sure it'll be something good. But to wrap it up, the AP for the others receiving votes, you got USC, Utah, Tulane, Houston, Navy, San Diego State, JMU, Boise State, TCU, and Minnesota getting a little bit of a look-see too. Not too shabby for them. And then drop for the rankings, obviously, USC, Memphis, Utah, and Nebraska. I forgot Nebraska was in the rankings. I think Nebraska probably forgot they were in the rankings too. And that's why they performed they did last week. Don't call it a comeback, but we will have a surprise on the other side. But hey, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. We are going to go ahead and take a little bit of a break, and then we'll be breaking down everything from the NFL this weekend, including Russell Wilson maybe becoming my favorite quarterback again in the NFL. We will wait and see. But thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit those follow buttons. Does help us out a lot more than you know. I am the Perfect One, AJ. The Money Train will be back with me at the other side of this break. We'll see you guys in just a moment. Good. 3, 2. And we are back. What's up, D-Gens? Perfect1 AJ back with the money train Noah after, AWS decided to kick Noah off the internet again. It happens, yesterday everything went down. But
we got Cox over here.
This one was Cox. My bad. Cox's problem, not AWS. They can slide on this one. But welcome back as we're getting ready to break down what was another exciting week in the NFL, Noah. But I do want to start with what has slowly become my favorite story in the NFL, and it's going to lead to something eventually. It's not leading to anything now, but these tweets, these comments will be pulled up once again at some future reference point, and it will be great, Noah. And we don't do this often on this show. Whoops, wrong screen. But I do want to go ahead and play a video and play a little soundbite of a head coach who had some comments after playing the New York Football Giants this weekend. No, let's take a listen.
I have a ton of respect for that organization.
I can't hear.
Super Bowl first time. A ton of respect. I have a ton of respect for that organization. I spent 4 of my early years there, coordinating Super Bowl first game in this stadium before 9/11. Close with the Mayor Tisch family, and they found a little spark with that quarterback. I was talking to John Mayer not too long ago, and I said we were hoping that change would have happened long after our game. I have a ton of respect for that organization.
No, I think you and I can decipher enough. Kind of a direct shot at who started the season for the New York Football Giants in Russell Wilson, the guy that Sean Payton could not stand so much that he said, F it, we'll take the dead cap hit. I just want him off my roster. Well, Noah, the internet works in great and fantastic ways, as Russell Wilson actually had a little response for this one, Noah. He went on to go ahead and say, classless, but not surprised. Didn't realize you're still bounty hunting 15 plus years later through the hashtag let's ride, Noah. Let's ride, baby. Oh, man. Now, first of all, let's get someone over a wellness check over to Sean Payton, make sure he's okay after that assassination by Russell Wilson. I mean, first of all, bringing up Bounty Gate. What a move. What an absolute move from Russell Wilson. What a wordsmith. And, we always see, I almost want to call it the cheesy side of Russell Wilson. You know what I mean? The motivational speaker that doesn't really come off all authentic or anything. That was 100% authentic Russell Wilson right there. That was all right, Sean, you didn't like me that much. Let's have a conversation about it.
Yeah, well, and Russell Wilson's not the type of guy to obviously we knew the two of them in Denver. It was pretty clear by body language.
Very clear.
They did not like each other. But Russell Wilson doesn't come out and say shit like this. A chord was struck, and I guess even if you got a very, very nice, people-friendly dog, you put it in a corner and threaten it, you're gonna get bit. And Sean Payton taking what I would call a completely unnecessary shot at Russell Wilson.
Unnecessary, unneeded.
I mean, he already got benched after 3 weeks. You paid his entire fucking salary for him to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. And now he's on the Giants. If you're Sean Payton, just let the shit go. I just don't understand why you feel the need to come out and say that in this press conference.
Yeah.
So Russell Wilson's completely valid, and I don't generally like Russell Wilson.
No.
I haven't been shy about that, but I think he's totally valid just firing back on this one because
he deserved it. Sean Payton totally deserved it.
The comments by Sean Payton were just so unwarranted to begin with, and it's is Russ still living rent free in Sean Payton's mind?
Apparently. And I mean, and it's not, and again, he didn't do shit for him. He must just hate him that much. I mean, I can't imagine an experience with Russell Wilson is that bad that you got to take an unnecessary shot at him. Not to mention the fact, like, and you could see him while he was standing at the podium. He was like, should I say this? Should I not say this? I'm going to go ahead and say it. And then he ripped out the line.
Here we are 2 years removed, and now you're just still like pulling up and taking shots at Russell Wilson.
And don't get me wrong, like this show, like I feel like I was one of the first people in sports to kind of call out the decline of Russell Wilson over the last, since his last year in Seattle, second to last year in Seattle. And very anti, but like, I mean, bro ain't that bad. Like, and again, you almost got torched by a rookie quarterback and a guy who can't get tested for concussions. Like Sean, let's go ahead and take a seat before we get on your high horse and ride around. That's kind of where I'm at with that. But we'll get to that game in a moment. No, you ready to dive into the NFL?
Yeah. Cam Scadaboo actually can't fail a concussion test because he doesn't meet the criteria for the test.
I feel like Cam Scadaboo is going to become like the next generation's Chuck Norris jokes. You know what I mean? Like
they try to run the concussion test on Cam Scadaboo, and they're like, we can't tell if this is just his normal behavior or if he's actually concussed.
Cam Scadaboo doesn't get CTE. CTE gets Cam Scadaboo.
No. It's not that. It's like that one line from Bruce Banner where he's like, what does he say? Like, my secret is I always stay mad.
Yeah.
Cam Scadaboo is like, no, I can't fail a concussion test because I act normal because I always have CTE.
I really can't wait to tell my kids. I can't wait to tell my kids about this 3-year run
to work every day. He just bangs his head as hard as he can against a brick wall before he goes to work every day, and then
every day it's unreal. The man,
they're trying to run those tests on him. They're like, "Oh, no, it's just normal Cam."
He's normal. No, seriously, like he got concussed. He doesn't know where he's at. He doesn't ever know where he's at. Have you heard him just scream? I mean, I love that guy. And I like him a lot more now that he's not on ASU. But anyway, let's go ahead.
He's going to have a really fun 4 to 6 year career.
Really fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
A really fun 4 to 6 years, and then he's going to be out of the league.
But hey, I am sure some demolition company will give him a contract to be there. That would be great use of NIL. If you are any demolition company, go get Cam Scadaboo, get a green screen, and have him running through a brick wall, tearing down a building, brother. Let's go ahead and just get that in the works, huh?
He's like the Kool-Aid man.
He's the new Kool-Aid man. Oh my God. Anyway. That's genius, Noah. That's genius. Anyway, you can go ahead and send all marketing inquiries to brofickentertainmentllc@gmail.com. Anyway, let's go ahead and move to what feels like an eternity ago, Thursday Night Football, Noah, as we were reminded once again that elite Joe Flacco is still elite. He is elite. He will always be elite. And honestly, Noah, I think the conversation for him to be a Hall of Famer at some point is very well and alive right now as the Bengals go ahead and beat the Steelers 33-31. Flacco going 31 for 47, 342 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Excuse me, Noah, that is an elite stat line right there. Hell of a game for the Bengals, playing from behind for most of the first half and then coming back from it. Aaron Rodgers, 23 for 34, 249 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, Raj. We can't have that. But Jaylen Warren looked really good last Thursday without a touchdown. But hey, Freiermuth getting it done before National Tight Ends Day. Noah, what did you think about this game?
Yeah, you look at the last 2 weeks, and obviously last week against the Packers, Joe Flacco looked okay with less than a week with the team. He looked really damn good. Damn good, and it certainly fucking helps to have Jamar Chase to throw the ball to. I do have to say that.
Yeah.
T. Higgins getting involved pretty well in this game as well. And I think the difference with Flacco is he does have the experience, even though he's less mobile. He's avoiding a lot of these sacks, and the pressures have been on him. Green Bay got a lot of pressure on Joe Flacco, but I believe only sacked him once or twice. He didn't get. I don't believe he got sacked a lot in this game either.
I don't think he did. Let me double check, but keep going.
But it's funny because he's obviously a lot less mobile than Jake Browning, than other options they could have brought in. But Flacco's smart with the football. He's been around the game a long enough time that he's not making bad mistakes with the football. And then at the end of the day, when you play for the Bengals, deliver the fucking ball to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and you're going to be fucking all right. You're going to be all right.
Yeah, and I mean, it helped Chase Brown 11 attempts for 108 yards. He had a nice day in the backfield.
They ran the ball better than they have any game all season in this one. And so that opened up the pass game for Joe Flacco, and he was able to then, because they established the run game real quick, real early, and then he just went and picked apart the defense in it. Not even picked apart, because it wasn't even like they were taking a lot of deep shots. There's a lot of short routes, a lot of volume passing, but like at the end of the day, you get Jamar Chase, you get T. Higgins out in space with the ball, and you let them do their thing. Joe Flacco, he understands the assignment with Cincinnati. He's not going to go out there. He doesn't have to be Joe Burrow. He doesn't have to do anything crazy. Just make the right read, get it out to these uber talented fucking receivers in space, and let them do the rest of the work. And since Cincinnati might have a chance to make a playoff push this year, and Joe Burrow should be back before playoffs, and I know that they got a lot of shit for making this trade for Joe Flacco versus a couple other guys on the market like Jameis. When everybody wanted to see Jameis just because it would be a hell of a lot of fun. But I do think they put themselves in the best position to win football games by going getting Joe Flacco versus like a Jameis or a Russell Wilson or a couple other guys who would have been out there on the market. And so,
yeah, and I mean with Jamar Chase with 23 targets, T. Higgins with 10. I mean, Joe Flacco was playing like how I would play Madden if I had the Bengals. Like, let me just go ahead and get the ball to the playmakers quick and just have a good time. Like, and that's what they did.
If you have 33 targets to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in a game, your team's going to put up points.
Yeah, that's just kind of a guarantee at that point. Kind of a guarantee. Let's keep it moving, Noah. Let's go over to London with the Rams and the Jaguars. Rams doing something we've never seen an NFL team do before, arriving essentially day before in London. They come in, take care of business, 35-7. Rams just demolish the Jaguars, 21-33, 182 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions for Matthew Stafford. And I do want to go ahead and thank the Rams real quick. I do want to send a thank you to the Los Angeles Rams because I woke up, checked the score, and I was like, cool, I don't need to watch, and went back to sleep. So I do appreciate them for letting me sleep in a couple extra hours on Sunday. This should be our last London game for at least a week or two, and then we go back for like I think Spain and Germany or something like that. But anyway, any thoughts on this game, Noah?
Yeah, God, just dominant.
Yeah.
And the Rams have looked dominant on both sides of the ball at times this year. They haven't looked consistently dominant on either side of the ball for the entire year. That's why they're sitting at a respectable 5-2 record. I mean, their losses are to Philly and San Francisco, who are both also 5-2. So, top of the NFC really just, it's funny. You got 6 5-2 teams, and then you got the Packers sitting at first place at 4-1-1. And a lot of these teams have lost to the other teams that are in that top 7 there. So it's a really, really competitive top of the NFC where any of these top teams, you kind of expect that any of them can beat each other pretty good on any given day. Obviously, this one against an AFC team in Jacksonville, who got off to a real hot start this season, but after back-to-back losses, now is starting to look a little bit questionable. The Jaguars look really good when they have it dialed in. When they don't have it dialed in, they look atrocious.
Yeah.
They look like the last couple of years Jaguars teams. So I'm interested to see how this plays out for Jacksonville the rest of the season. But the Rams, man, I mean, they're going to be an interesting team to watch because this is a team that I'm like, yeah, their ceiling is they could go out and win a Super Bowl this year. Because when they play like this, and they've played like this 2 or 3 games this season so far, they look like potentially the best team in the NFL. But they don't always show up. They only show up 80 to 90% of the time. And this goes for both sides of the ball. Like sometimes they have some offensive issues, sometimes they have some defensive issues. But when they do bring their A game, I think they're in the conversation for best team in the league. And they brought their A game here in London, and just I mean, this game was by late second quarter, it was 21-0, and it's like, all right, this one's fucking over.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Rams just looked like the best team in the NFL, best team in the NFC West, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it was funny. I did not wake up for kickoff on this one. I wake up sometime in the second quarter. The Rams go and score that third touchdown to go up 21-0. And I'm catching a live line at 15.5. And so thank God for that, because I'm like, fuck it. I'll just dump a couple units on 15.5 right here. Because at that point I woke up and I'm like, well, this isn't a very fun game to watch. So I'm going to make it fun by putting a bet on it. And so I took the Rams minus 15.5. And it didn't even get sweaty. Because Jacksonville just never had a chance to claw back into this one.
No, they really didn't. They really
completely one-sided performance there over the pond.
Yeah. Well, let's move into the morning slate, Noah, as we had the Saints and the Bears. Bears win this one 26-14. Caleb Williams, 15 for 26, 172 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's more like it. That's more like it right there, Noah. That's a Bears quarterback stat line, even when we win a football game. If the Chicago Bears were to ever go to the Super Bowl with Caleb Williams, I would expect his stat line to look a lot similar to this as well.
Yeah,
listen.
I gotta say thank you, Caleb Williams. I was going for my 3rd win in a row after an 0-4 start on my fantasy team, and that 6 points you contributed did not help towards that 3rd win in a row.
And and I get it. Like Bears fans, the front office, everyone is excited about being 4-2 right now, and they have every right to be excited about being 4-2 right now. I can't remember the last time the Bears went 4-2 and we had wins. But let's take a look at who we've beaten. Let's take a look at what's going on, and let's more importantly take a look at what our franchise is in Caleb Williams. Yes, he has had a couple of good games against bad defenses, but it's not been anything to be like, holy shit, he's the guy. And now coming up against the Saints, and yes, I know the Saints are 1-6, but they don't look as much of a 1-6 team as they are. But he can't be looking like that. No, I was unimpressed with how Caleb Williams looked, and I've been unimpressed with him this season. And I'm glad the Bears are winning and there's football games being won and we're putting more points on the board. But when we win a game and our quarterback's 15 for 26 with 0-1 for an interception,
yeah,
that's concerning.
Yeah, and you got a real interesting stretch coming up with the Bears, right? Like this is a team that could theoretically get to a 7-2 record.
For sure.
If you look at the next 3 games. They could also be 4-5.
For sure.
They're at the Ravens, at the Bengals. At the Ravens with potentially Lamar Jackson back. And then you're at the Bengals. And then you got the Giants at home. Like 3 games that the Bears could feasibly win. They could be 7-2. Now, this is the Chicago Bears, and I don't expect that to happen. If I had to guess, I'd say they go 1-2 in this 3-game stretch.
That's probably, yeah.
They could also lose all 3 of these games, especially if Lamar comes back at home for the Ravens next week. That feels like a game where the Bears might somehow be favored by 1.5. And I'm going to be all the fuck over the Ravens on that if Lamar is back. And then at the Bengals, like that's when I expect the Bears to lose. They might be competitive in it. We'll see what happens. And then the Giants are starting to look a little bit better. So I don't know. 4-game win streak, McCormick, the longest win streak in 6 years for the Bears. First time they've won 4 in a row in that many years. It just feels like it's all going to crumble down and fall apart. They got lucky. They got the win here. Yes, defense has been forcing turnovers, and that's been the big thing because their offense looked terrible against a not good Saints defense, and they still get out of there with a 12-point win.
And maybe that's why Bears fans are so stoked on this team, is because they're thinking, holy shit, look at this defense. We got the 85 Bears back. You know what I mean? Where we're just running the football and our quarterback's not very good, but he's somewhat serviceable, but our defense is really solid. And hey, we keep forcing turnovers. Yeah, we're going to win football games, but we also need a quarterback to have a touchdown in the win and not an interception.
He still looks like a first-round rookie, is my thing with Caleb.
Agreed.
He puts together some really phenomenal moments, some really phenomenal drives, even occasionally a really phenomenal game. He also makes a lot of mistakes and puts up a lot of fucking stinkers. Bears, they're at plus 11 turnover margin right now. That's crazy. That's got to be close to, if not number one in the NFL, and they still have 2 losses on their damn schedule because it's the fucking Bears.
Bears.
Yeah, if they can't, and those are unsustainable numbers, so they won't keep it up. And if they can't keep that up, they're going to start dropping games. And this team's going to end up missing the playoffs still. I believe they've played 2 division games already.
Yeah,
those are their 2 losses, to the Lions and the Vikings. But they got to play the Lions and the Vikings one more time. They got to play the Packers 2 more times. So you talk about having, be it 6 games into the season, you got 11 left on your schedule, and 4 of those are against really fucking tough division rivals, and then you got some other tougher games in there as well. Their schedule was not overly difficult this year. They had a lot of the easy games front-loaded. So, yeah, if they get through this next 3 games at a 2-1 record, and they're sitting at 6-3, they're going to be feeling real nice. But then you look at the last 8 games of the season, and it's easily a situation where the Bears could go 1-7, 2-6 over those last 8 games, and it wouldn't be overly surprising. So,
yeah.
Again, you get a huge backloaded schedule, which, the Bears are playing above. I'm not going to say well, but I'll say they're playing above expectations right now. I just imagine it's going to come crashing down on them. I don't think it's sustainable.
No, again, the Bears winning? No, that's not sustainable at all.
They put together great plays, great drives, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. I just don't think they're capable of putting together great games or specifically more than one great game in a row.
Yeah, and that's what they might have won. They might have 4 consecutive wins, but they don't have, or the longest winning streak or whatever, but they don't have like the eye test or anything to back it up for sure. I hated this game. I really hated this game, Noah. Dolphins, Browns. Cleveland wins 31-6. Tua gets benched for Quinn Ewers. That was something that happened. And Mike McDaniel still has a job. And I will say, I heard there was some boomer on the radio today, and he was talking about how, and he was talking about the Miami Dolphins situation. He's like, everyone, when stuff starts to go bad, they just want everyone fired immediately. But then what? Then you can't build a culture and yada, yada, yada. No, people have been asking for Mike McDaniel to be fired for the last couple of years now, and they've also been asking Tua to get cut, be traded or something. They've been saying the same thing about Tyreek. Like, the fans are just at the point where they're more shocked, I think, than anything after coming out 1-6 with the chemistry and the issues going in from the preseason and now kind of where we're at now. I mean, you go out to the Browns and lose 31-6?
Yeah.
Come on.
And I've been less down on this Browns team than most people, I would say.
Well, they've got a solid defense. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you there. But, I mean, again, Dylan Gabriel looking less than stellar. And 13 for 18 with 116 yards. He didn't do shit. Quinshon Judkins just decided to score 3.
Yeah, Judkins looked real nice.
They had good turnovers, too. I mean, field position helped Tua with 3 turnovers. That doesn't fucking help. I mean...
Yeah. Well, what I will say with the Dolphins, though, is the one consistent thing every game this year has been Devon Achane's been just stacking up good game after good game after good game. He ran into it against this Cleveland defense, and did not have a good game. And when Achane doesn't have a good game, that's this team's entire offense right now. And they have stuck in there in some games, even won one of them. But if Achane can't get going, Dolphins aren't doing jack shit. And they did give up a lot of points to the Cleveland Browns, who do not have an impressive offense. Dylan Gabriel's not a good quarterback from NFL standards. Yeah, this is an ugly fucking loss, AJ. This is why you were coming into the season saying they might not win a game. I was like, nah, they're going to get 3 or 4 at least. They already got 1. They've come close 2 other times. But yeah, this is evidence of how dysfunctional and bad this Dolphins team can be. And they have a head coach who's not helping it. He's, if anything, putting more fuel on the fire. Like you got a dumpster fire burning, and McDaniel just comes out and just throws more gasoline on top of it.
Well, and I mean, and then you have Tua's comments from last week about players not coming to players-only meetings and leadership needing to step up. You're the quarterback of the franchise. They're paying you however many millions of dollars a year. You are leadership on this team. If they're not showing up, it's because of you. And, you know, he backtracked his his points and everything, but still, like, the point standing, like, that is. And how many players-only meetings are you having? How many are you having? If this, like, that is not good. If you're having more, you already had your players only meeting for the season. Yeah. You already had that in week 1. You can't be having more than 2 or you can't be having more than 1. And then you should be having that at the end of the season. Like, this team is such a disaster.
Yeah. And here's the crazy thing at this point. You look forward to the rest of this season, even going to next season and the off season, whatever. I would say the Jets, Giants, and Saints are all in a better position to have a more positive outlook for the rest of this season going into next than the Miami Dolphins do right now. Am I saying the Jets and the Saints are a better team than the Dolphins right now? No, not necessarily. I do think that the Giants are a better team than them, but by a slim margin. However, all 3 of those teams, I think they have a more positive outlook. I would even say the Raiders,
just based off head coaching.
I would even say the Raiders have a more positive outlook right now than the
100%.
Than the Dolphins do, and even the Titans, who just fired their head coach. Like there's probably more optimism floating around the building in the fan base than the Dolphins. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? You got a team that on paper is good enough that if you're playing a mediocre to bottom tier defense in the NFL, you can score enough points to hang in those games just fine.
And that's even with Tyreek out.
But there's so much fucking dysfunction on this Dolphins team. Like Mike McDaniel is, if he makes it to the end of the season, he's going to get fired as soon as the season's over. But I think eventually they're holding on for now, but
I don't know why.
He's going to be out, and then he's going to go somewhere, and he's going to be a fucking tremendous offensive coordinator for some team. I just think he lacks the leadership qualities that you need to be a head coach. I think he's got this tremendous fucking football offense, especially offensive football mind, that is like a 1 in a million type of thing, and that's a guy you want on your coaching staff. I just don't think he should have ever got promoted. He's
the cool uncle. He's the cool uncle.
He doesn't have the leadership capabilities. He doesn't have what it takes to step in and put players in their place, put other coaches in their place, because he just deflects fucking blame when shit's not going well. Like I said, he'll get fired as head coach of the Dolphins. Somebody will pick him up as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And that team's going to have a great fucking asset if they have a head coach who will be Mike McDaniel's boss and put him in his place and be like, this is what you need to do your job and do it well, and we'll be fine. But he can't be the guy. He clearly has shown he is not capable of being the guy running the show. He can't run the show because he doesn't have enough accountability for himself to pass that on to the players, and they all see this. And so,
we're looking at 2 head coaches in this game who don't have a good record, don't really have positive outlook for the rest of the season or even going into next year. And
the leader of men, Stefanski.
Exactly. And one of the first things qualities. Exactly. And one of the first things out of Stefanski's mouth after every loss has been, I need to be better. Like, I need to be better in getting them ready. I need to be better at calling play. I need to. Like, it's about him. It's not about the team. It's not about deflecting flame. And like, to your point, Noah, it's just a difference in, I guess, leadership qualities if you want to be nice about it. But I'm right there with you. I think Kevin Stefanski is going to be a great offensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals next year. And we're going to have at least a couple cool trick plays in our sleeves next year. So I'm excited.
I feel like Stefanski would be a good GM if he ever wanted to.
I co-sign that. I co-sign that take. That is, I would agree with you. I think he has seen enough and he's done enough with these shit Browns teams, to where, yeah, I agree with you.
Well, he gets dealt a bad hand every single year since he's gone to the Browns. He did a tremendous job when he was the offensive coordinator for the Vikings, and I do see those. Like, one thing we never talk about with the Browns is that their locker room is lost. We never talk about that. Like, the Browns, they can lose as many games as they fucking want to. Yet you don't hear anything from the players, from any of the coaches, deflecting blame or anything else. It's just like, you just got to keep grinding, keep getting better, get to winning games. And I think the front office for the Browns is actually in a fine place. They just got to build a better roster there, and I think Stefanski can run with it. But McDaniel, complete opposite. He needs to not be a head coach. He needs to be a coordinator or even a positions coach. I don't know if he'll fall all the way that far to a positions coach. I think somebody.
I think he'll go to college and be an OC in college before he goes to a position coach in the NFL again.
But I can't say enough how imaginative and impressive of an offensive mind Mike McDaniel has. He just clearly lacks the leadership qualities and some of that stuff that you need to have as a head coach.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more, Noah. Couldn't agree. And I think McCormick really nails that home. That is a great line. McCormick, I'm going to keep that one in my back pocket. Noah, I do have some bad news. Are you ready for the bad news?
What's that?
The Chiefs are back. And again, I'm not, it is the Raiders, Noah, but I do think, and you can disagree with me on this, there's a difference from the Chiefs beating the Raiders 21-0 and 31-0. And I think it's a little bit of, more of a, what? Go ahead.
I was going to disagree. They played, no, I wasn't going to disagree. I would say, the Chiefs have now strung together a couple games in a row where they've had a complete dominant game on both sides of the ball. And against the Lions and then now against the Raiders.
And I think we can say on all three sides of the ball. 0 points put up. Special teams has some type of a hand in that. They're back, dude. They're back. They got everyone healthy again, and hopefully no more friendly fire this season. And I think this team's in a position they can continue to keep it moving, Noah. And that's why even when the Chiefs were down, we didn't really back off of them. We pointed out what was concerning, but we're like, hey, neither of us were counting them out of playoffs anytime soon.
What have we said since we started this show like 4 or 5 years ago, AJ? It's the AFC runs through Kansas City until it no longer does. And they've shown weakness the last 2 years, that's for sure.
They've been vulnerable. I would say they've been vulnerable the last 3 years.
But remind me, where did they end up the last 2 years?
Oh, the Super Bowl, Noah.
Yeah,
so team of the year, where they crowned the championship.
It got off to another little bit of a rocky start this year. They the last 2 weeks specifically, they've looked really damn good.
Yeah.
Is that just a 2-week thing? I know they're getting some players back healthy, and so again, it's the fucking Chiefs in the AFC until it's not. Until somebody can do something about it, it's the Chiefs, and they're. I think it's a huge testament to Andy Reid.
Oh, for sure.
Because, they didn't have the best defenses, but then they had the best offense in the league for a number of years, and then their offense started slipping. But then Spags and that defense the last 2 years brought them back to the Super Bowl, and now they're defense, at least to start the year, wasn't looking so great. The offense was looking a little rocky. The offense has figured it out. The defense seems to have figured it out as well. And now this looks like a dangerous-ass fucking Chiefs team, even though they're 4-3 record-wise right now. And I think that's a huge testament to Andy Reid. And just him, his coordinators he chooses to hire, the way he coaches the players. I think just so much of this just falls on Andy Reid, and that's the beginning of why they have. There's a lot of reasons they have so much success, but that's the beginning of it, is Andy Reid.
Yeah, and I mean, let's even dive into that a little bit more. Andy Reid over in Philly had a Hall of Fame type career. Won a Super Bowl, had a lot of very competitive teams, and looked really damn good doing it.
Got really close a number of times.
And then he decides to go to Kansas City, and then, I'm sorry, he went from having a Hall of Fame career to a first ballot Hall of Fame career. Like, what he has put together in Kansas City, even before Patrick Mahomes, when he shattered his leg. Oh, my God, why can't I remember? Alex Smith, thank you. But, even with Alex Smith, things were going in the right direction with the Chiefs and everything. And then they come across Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and then this new dynasty starts. And again, the Chiefs are 2-1 in the last 3 years in the Super Bowl. Arizona Cardinals are 0-for in the last 3 Super Bowls. The fact that they have a record in the last 3 Super Bowls is unreal. They have a record in the last 4 Super Bowls.
As are many teams. And biggest thing I'll say is Andy Reid's going to get Matt Nagy another head coaching job.
Fuck, he really is.
I'm just going to
be the Cardinals. Oh, my God.
I don't need to say
God.
I don't need to say anything else other than Andy Reid is going to get Matt Nagy, after 2 years as an OC, another shot at being a head coach. And it's probably going to go equally as bad as the first one did.
The Cardinals are going to fire Gannon at the end of this year. The Chiefs are going to win a Super Bowl. Matt Nagy is going to sign with the Cardinals. I got to wake up from this nightmare, Noah. I got to wake up eventually. I got it.
I'm sorry to put that on your bingo card, AJ. I know you don't want that, but
you and I both know that is a fairly realistic possibility going into next season.
Matt Nagy's already sitting in the top 6 for head coaching candidates for going into next season. And if the Chiefs' offense continues clicking, Matt Nagy's gonna get another shot at a head coaching job somewhere.
I might never watch a Cardinals game again. I might never.
Well, you can just hope he goes to the Dolphins, and then they'll just continue to be trash.
Go to the Dolphins. Oh, Coach Tua, you can fix Tua. You can fix Tua. You can't fix Kyler. I promise. Anyway,
I think you got a better shot at unlocking something in Kyler than you do in Tua, but.
Anyway, next game on the slate, Noah. Them Birds are back, Noah. 28-22 over the Vikings. Jalen Hurts, not a bad day in the air. 19 for 23, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Did rush for negative 10 yards, though, so shame on him. But Saquon, not that impressive from a game from Saquon, but still enough to get it done with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Eagles look good. I mean, again, Noah, we fell into the trap again. We fell into the trap where we talked about, the Eagles and their issues for a couple of weeks and how they might not have it together. And then they go ahead and play a solid game. The issues still exist, but they're 5-2. I mean, this is another dangerous Birds team. Not a pretty Birds team, but it's a dangerous Birds team.
Yeah, I think they got the benefit of the doubt here from Carson Wentz, looking like Carson Wentz of old a little bit.
Yeah, 26 for 42, 313, and 2 interceptions. Nah, that's a Carson Wentz stat line if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, well, and the interceptions they were ugly. They were ugly.
They were real bad.
Vikings do what they seem to do best and just hang around and make this game interesting. Because the Eagles got out to a commanding start, and it doesn't matter who they're playing. The Vikings, and they've gotten behind in more than half of their games this season.
Yeah.
I think they've been down double digits 4, if not 5 times this year.
Sure.
I think 5, because even the Bears win week 1, they were down double. Yeah. So I think 5 out of 6 games the Vikings have been down double digits at some point. Not a good recipe for success, yet they're somehow sitting at a 3-3 record, and could even be 4-2 if a couple things went differently in a few games. So that's my one positive thing I'll say about this Vikings team is they hang around and they make the game interesting every single fucking week, and I don't understand why, but they're getting off to terrible fucking starts, digging themselves a hole and then climbing out, which if they're going to continue that mantra, they're not a playoff team this year.
No.
Now, if they can start the games a little bit better and not get down by double digits, this team is dangerous. I mean, it's either them or the Bengals. For you talk about the two best receiver rooms in the league. I'd probably put them 2 right like behind, what you got with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but I welcome Jordan Addison. Obviously, he had that couple games suspension, but yeah, he's fucking back all the way. I think it helps that he was just coming off of a suspension, not an injury. And then obviously we know what Justin Jefferson is, so. Yeah, Wentz a couple bad mistakes in this one. A couple bad mistakes that were costly. They end up losing by 6. That was the difference maker in the game, as the Eagles didn't turn the ball over, and the Vikings decided they were just going to give some easy ass interceptions to the Eagles. I still don't love this. I don't love this Eagles offense. I know they had a little bit of a better game in this one, at least stat wise, but it feels like they're almost like reluctant to run the ball with Saquon this year, and I don't understand it.
It feels like when you remember when Harbaugh last year was talking about Derrick Henry and like they weren't using him a lot in the beginning of the year, and he's like, well, we gotta wait till playoffs essentially to use him. It kind of feels like that, or
trying to keep his reps down.
Yeah, almost, if not that, but also it feels like we have an epidemic in the league where the moment the run game stops working, we're just going to abandon it completely and we're just going to throw the ball around. Like and it's not just one team. It's not just the Eagles. It is the Cardinals. It is insert team name here. There have been so many teams this year. The Commanders are very guilty of it, that once the run stops working, they just, okay, never mind.
You know what? I will say, and we'll get to the game a little bit later, but I will say thank God for the Packers not falling victim to that. And somehow Josh Jacobs in the Packers run game has looked super dysfunctional this year.
Yeah.
Yet they keep handing the ball off to him. So I mean, like at least they're not like I don't. The first part I don't know what the fuck's going on with that because he's been such an effective runner previously. But no. To your point. It's like, because it's not like they're really handing the ball off to anybody else.
No.
In Philly. And Saquon's gotten significantly less touches. He's not had anywhere near as many explosive runs this year. And then the pass game has looked a little dysfunctional for Philly at times. And I think it's because they're not establishing the run. And it makes no sense to me. I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know why they're not just ground and pound with Saquon and then be a pass second team, because that's what's fucking worked for him the last 2 years.
I don't know why, but it feels like maybe Sirianni and that coaching staff doesn't trust the O-line as much as they did last year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
that's kind of what it feels like.
But
we're 2 years removed from Kelsey. They didn't have that many moves on the O-line this offseason.
But you still got Mailata, Lane Johnson. You still got some,
and they've had a couple injuries on the O-line so far this year. But I don't know, man.
It's almost like all this talk about tush push and everything. They're
like, fine, Bucky, you want us to do it through the air? We'll do it through the air.
No, it's almost like it's almost like they've completely adopted that as just their identity. They're like, we're playing.
So if we're gonna run.
Like, it's like, we're playing for a 3rd and 1.
Yeah, maybe.
So that we can line up and tush push it twice on you. Like, when there's probably much better plays in a lot of situations where you just throw it 15 yards downfield past the sticks to your really talented receivers who are probably top 5 or 6 tandem in the league in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but you're not using them. You're not using them, and you're not using Saquon, and it's just a little mind-boggling with the Eagles right now because you have so much
like we've been
talent on the offensive side of the ball, and their defense is not as good as it was the last 2 years. Yeah. I will say that they did lose a lot of guys to free agency because they couldn't afford to pay them all. But the dysfunction that we're talking about is on the offensive side of the ball.
Like we said, this is an offense without an identity. This has been an offense without an identity all season long, and it continues to go that way. And they're not trying to establish an identity.
Well, and nothing's really changed personnel-wise.
No.
And it's just like, you don't want to hand the ball off to Saquon, and you don't really want to air it out to down the field. If you are throwing to your receivers, it's quick little couple-yard routes. And it's like it's just a stupid-ass offense, and then you wonder why you're not scoring more points. And it's like, well, I think a lot of people who don't have experience in offensive play calling in football at any level could probably tell you a couple of reasons why shit's not really working out that well.
Yeah. I don't get it. I mean, again, they're looking fine. They're winning football games, not something we need to pull cord about, but it is something to continue to keep an eye on if they can establish an identity through the season. Another ugly ass game. No, a couple ugly ass games this weekend that I wouldn't even take home to.
Oh, I'm excited for this one.
Jets Panthers, go for it.
The Carolina Panthers, brother. They are. What is that? My eyes might be straining a little. What does that record say for the Panthers?
They're 4-3, Noah. They're 4-3 in the NFL.
And AJ, I might need you to remind me how many games back from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are they now?
Ooh, checks notes, because honestly, I don't fucking know right now. Give me 2 seconds, Noah. You could have let me know this was coming. They would happen to be checks notes. That would be a game behind, dude.
1 game back, man. I'm feeling good. It was a rough, weird start to the season for Carolina. 1-3 start. They're now sitting at 4-3. Granted, they have not had a super difficult schedule. You look at the teams they beat. But if you remember what my number one hot take for the season was this year, it was that Carolina was going to win the NFC South. Now, Tampa Bay has looked a little bit better than I was expecting them to this year. And I still do think Tampa Bay is going to win this division. But dare I say, Carolina, it looks like they may be a fringe playoff team. And I say fringe because I think it's more than likely they fall a game or two shy of a wild card. But I could also see a scenario where they sneak in with a 9-10 win record because they do have an easy-ass fucking schedule. Keep in mind, they do get to play, I don't think they've played the Saints yet. So they have 2 games against the Saints. They got 1 more against the Falcons. They do have 2 games against the Bucs. So if they can split those 2 games against the Bucs and win those other 3 divisional games, this could be a team that sneaks in with the 6 or 7 seed in the wild card. Do I expect them to do anything against whoever the 2 and 3 seed are on the road in the first round of the playoffs? No. But this team looks functional.
Yeah, it does.
They look functional. They can win games.
And I mean, they have a solid 1-2 punch at receiver with Leggett and T-Mac going at it. I mean, big game out of Leggett in this one, but it kind of feels like they flip-flop big games. Like T-Mac has a big game, then Leggett has a big game. Leggett has a big game, then T-Mac has a big game. And
I wouldn't say Leggett ever really has big games, but T-Mac hasn't truly had a big statement game yet, but T-Mac's had a couple nice games. Leggett's had some decent games. Renfro had 1 or 2 really nice games.
That's right, yeah.
I thought it was foolish for them to trade Adam Thielen, who, by the way, is doing goddamn nothing. I think he's got 9 targets for the Vikings this year.
Something like that.
9 targets, and I think I want to say 4 or 5 catches is what Thielen's put up. So, maybe Carolina dishing him off for, I don't even remember what round pick they got for him.
Probably a 5th.
Well, I know when we were talking about it, when the Vikings had interest, I was like, I wouldn't trade him for anything less than a 2nd. And then it ended up being, I think, like a I think it was a fourth or a fifth.
Probably.
But Thielen's done absolutely nothing for the Vikings. They signed Renfro as a free agent. He's done some things. But the run game for Carolina, holy shit. Chuba Hubbard missed a couple weeks, and Rico Dowdle was leading back in the NFL for 2 weeks in a row with Chuba Hubbard gone. And then Chuba Hubbard says, "No, I'm 110% coming back." And then everyone's making jokes like, "Oh, watch out, Rico Dowdle going to come out and say he's 125%." Doesn't want to give up those reps. No, they got this running game working. It's opening up the pass game, which is not overly impressive, but it works because they have so much opened up by how well they're running the goddamn ball. And the defense is case by case, week in, week out. Sometimes they look good. Sometimes they look terrible. I don't really know what to make of this Carolina defense. They beat a bad Jets team in New York. But needless to say, Carolina's sitting at 4-3. If you're a Panthers fan, you got to be stoked about being 4-3 to start the season. And again, you're sitting a game back from Tampa Bay. You're in second place in the division. You got 5 division games ahead of you. 3 of those are against the Falcons and the Saints. And you got one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. So things aren't looking too bad for the Carolina Panthers this year. Any hate, any animosity that's grown for Bryce Young should be tampering down a bit. He hasn't been giving games away, which I think is the biggest thing. He's not really turning the ball over much. He's not doing anything overly impressive, but he's not turning the ball over. So he's filling that role of game manager quarterback, which I think that's what you need. Bryce Young, I don't think is ever going to be the guy who's going to go out and put up MVP numbers and be winning you games. He just needs to not make bad mistakes and continue to have this roster built around him, and Carolina's going to be in an okay place.
I agree. No, I think Carolina's in a solid place right now, and they'll continue to grow into it, hopefully, and they can just kind of keep the course right now. Jets not looking good. I mean, it seems like they're going to be going to Tyrod Taylor next over Justin Fields. You got to try something. All the respect to Tyrod Taylor. I mean, his career has just been filled with a series of unfortunate events.
Just get poked in the lung again.
Seriously, stay away from needles. Stay away from fucking anything.
Doctors.
Yeah, God, just wrap yourself in bubble wrap until you get out there. But I don't think it's a quarterback issue. Quarterback is the easiest thing to change in a team. Yeah, Justin Fields doesn't help. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, this isn't a good roster. This isn't a good team.
Jets issues are top down.
Yeah.
Stems from ownership, GM. I thought they prematurely fired Robert Saleh.
I agree.
You bring in another defensive coach, and then you're the one bright spot on this team, having a borderline top 5 defense, has now regressed into being a mid-tier NFL defense with a lot of the same personnel under Aaron Glenn's defense than it was under Saleh's. And on the offense, I mean, I feel bad for Justin Fields, man. I mean, this guy's been in the league, like 6-7 years now? And the 1 year that he was with Pittsburgh last year, gets off to a 4-1 record with them. 4-1. And then gets benched for Russell Wilson. And I feel for the guy because he's definitely got talent, and now he's in his 3rd shitty situation in a row in I think 6 years in the league. He's been in the league, I think 6, or maybe
No, this is his 5th year. 5th year because Bears had him for 3. We didn't pick up his option, traded him to the Bears so we could sign Caleb Williams. He went to the Steelers and now with the Jets.
So it's been a short career. He's gotten an opportunity to start for 3 different teams, but it's been in 3 shitty situations. The one situation that maybe wasn't fully shitty, he got off to a 4-1 start and they got benched for Russell Wilson.
I think he just needs to go where he belongs, and that is backing up Lamar Jackson on the Ravens. I think that is where he belongs. He belongs in that type of a system. He belongs in, and I know that, but like, and like the Bears like tried, but they didn't really commit to that type of an offense when he was there. And the Steelers weren't built for that type of an offense, and the Jets sure as fuck aren't built for that type of an offense. And so
the Jets offense looks another team that just is complete lack of fucking identity. Like, what the hell are they trying to do?
What are we doing here?
Because it feels like the play calling's different every single game for the Jets on the offensive side of the ball, and it seems like every week it doesn't work, and it's a different scheme, and it doesn't work every single week. Yeah, Fields he'll land on his feet. He'll be a backup somewhere. He's good enough that he'll be a backup somewhere, but yeah, I just feel bad for the guy because with the amount of talent that he has, he just hasn't ever gotten a chance to prove it because he's just been in 3 terrible offensive systems.
I will say, if we're talking about guys getting bodied on Twitter like we have today, I think last week or earlier this week, Orlovsky came out and said something along the lines of like Justin Fields is wasting away Garrett Wilson's potential and stuff. And someone on Twitter was like, hey, didn't you play with Calvin Johnson and have a very embarrassing record and losing season? I think you should sit this one out, Dano. And I was like, yeah, good point. Anyway, from one shitty team to another, but again, a team that does appear to have some upside even after firing a head coach. Titans go ahead, get belt to ass by their former head coach in Mike Vrabel, 31-13. This was as clear of day just a revenge game for Mike Vrabel. Like, the fact, I will say, shout out to him for showing restraint and pulling out Drake May and throwing Josh Dobbs in there to make sure that his guy doesn't die. But, I mean, this was one of the better games the Patriots have played in a while. They look really good. I like how they're going. Still think there's a couple things on defense and offense they need to tighten up. But, against this Titans team, a lot of teams are going to look like Super Bowl contenders, unless you're the Arizona Cardinals, of course. Again, they're 1 win on the season.
Yeah, AJ, Patriots are 5-2. They are sitting at what would currently be the 2 seed in the AFC.
Yes.
Do they look like top 5 team in the league? No, not necessarily. But you want to take a fun ride through the rest of their schedule?
No, yeah, I'll go ahead and put my seatbelt on. Keep both hands and arms and feet inside the ride vehicle at all times.
Yeah, so they got Browns at home. They got Falcons at home. So seems like a very legit possibility this team's 7-2.
Sure.
After that. They play at the Bucs. That one I don't expect them to be favored in. But then they get Jets at home, at the Bengals. Joe Burrow probably not back yet. The Giants at home. The Bills at home. At the Ravens, at the Jets, home against the Dolphins to end the season.
Fuck, they're making the playoffs.
This should be an 11 or 12 win team.
They're making the playoffs.
And granted, by the time you look at the record of opponents at the end of the season, they very well could have the easiest strength of schedule in the entire league. But this should be an 11 or 12 win Patriots team. And I think they're going to be right up there with like neck and neck with the Bills for winning this division. I know they're currently in first place with the same record because they have the tiebreaker, the head-to-head win over them already this season. Yeah, this is a playoff team.
Yeah.
In year 1 with Mike Vrabel, this is a playoff team. Drake May's playing really good football. They're playing Patriot football.
Damn it, they are.
They're literally they're running the ball when they need to open it up and throw it. Drake May can do that. He is capable of that. And you have this identity to this defense that they've been lacking for the last couple of years, that Belichick had for so many years. But you just bring in an understudy of Belichick and Mike Vrabel, a guy who played for Belichick, who's been on these Belichick defensive teams, and they have this smash mouth, hard hitting, just identity to this defense, and then you pair that up with an effective run game that even though Gibson gets injured, you still got Travion Henderson, and you still got Ramondre Stevenson, who's a really good fucking back, and flip that around. Stevenson first, Henderson second right now, for now. This is a very sound football team. And Tennessee should have never fucking fired Mike Vrabel. They should have never done it.
I think that will forever be one of the biggest head-scratching moments in the NFL. The Deshaun Watson signing and that contract from the Browns and Mike Vrabel getting fired from the Titans for absolutely no reason.
Well, I know the Titans weren't like doing great, but it felt like a weird firing when they got rid of Vrabel.
They sold A.J. Brown off for peanuts.
Yeah, and I don't know. Either way.
And then their quarterback was Mayo Boy. Where is Mayo Boy? Anyway.
So, yeah, Patriots are cooking. They got an easy-ass schedule the rest of the year. I do expect the Patriots will be a playoff team.
So are the Patriots back? Road Dogg wants to know if the Patriots are back. I am cautiously putting them on a ETA. Like they have an ETA of being back.
Yeah, well, they'll be a threat in that division now. Like this is no more Buffalo walking over all three other teams. No. I do think that the Bills still win this division by 1, maybe 2 games, just record-wise over the Patriots. They do have a tougher schedule than New England, so real interesting kicker is if New England can take the second game over Buffalo this year, then all of a sudden it's probably Patriots' favorite to win it. But yeah, they'll get a wild card, and then they're going to have the tough task of probably going to, I would imagine, Buffalo or Kansas City in the first round of the playoffs.
Probably. That would be a fun one. Patriots, Chiefs. Ooh.
Maybe they get lucky, and then they're going to either Pittsburgh or Cincinnati, and then they might have a reasonable chance, actually. Perhaps.
Well, Noah, let's go ahead.
But we'll see. Yeah, they're good. Tennessee, I just don't have much to say about them.
They got their guy. They got their guy at quarterback. They just need to get everything else going.
Now they just need receivers and a solid running back and a better offensive
line, head coach, offensive coordinator. Not too much.
Just most things.
Let's go to the craziest game in the NFL, Noah. Probably one of the all-time chokes we've seen in a long time. That led to that Sean Payton quote that we talked about earlier in the show. Giants, Broncos. Broncos take this one in Mile High, 33-32. What the fuck? This was unbelievable. A hell of a comeback from the Broncos. You can see the little fun graph over here. Doing fun graph things, Noah. Have you seen... I can't remember the last time I saw a graph like this in the NFL, especially when, the Giants were all the way at 99% at what? With 5:21 left to go, Noah. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. The Giants were winning this football game. And Bo Nix said, hold my beer. Let's have some fun. Defense helps out, too. I mean, Noah, hell of a win for the Broncos. They're now 5-2 in the AFC. 5-2. I think this is a bad win. Noah. We talk a lot in college football about good wins and bad losses. I think this is a bad win for Denver. I mean, yes, they fought through adversity, came all the way back in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left to go. That speaks a lot, but just looking in the long run and how football works, I mean, this is obviously not sustainable and not something that they've done often. They're not like the Buccaneers where they're winning every game on the last drive or anything like that. But the team, the Broncos looked like shit until the last 5 minutes. They didn't look good. Jackson Dart, Scatterbo, and the boys were having a fucking time of their lives. And I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on in Denver, but something ain't right. And congrats on the win. But I mean, talk about winning a game and then getting chewed out by your coaches the day after, because that's had to have been what happened here. Because there's, 45 minutes of other tape out there that's not very good from this Denver team.
Yeah, this was this is ugly. Denver's probably I would argue probably the weakest 5-2 team in the league right now.
Agreed.
Holy shit. They had no fucking business winning this game.
No.
Giants were in complete control for 49, 52, 54 minutes even, and just couldn't get it done. And I think Giants are one of the few teams that, being in this position, you're not 100% confident that they're going to close it out, and they weren't able to do it. And I think that's part of the growth that's happening with the Giants right now. Question is going to be, is Dable stay around long enough to continue this? I would actually argue, if you're on the Giants front office, I would say, yeah, let's actually keep Dable around, because we're seeing positive movement. There's just a big hump in front of them that they need to get over.
Exactly.
And you blow out the fucking Eagles, but then you have a loss to the Saints in New Orleans, where you turn the ball over a shit ton, and then you have this massively blown lead, and it's like, okay, the Giants are not there yet, and I don't think nobody expected them to be there yet this season. But there is some good flashes that we see out of them. But it's just like, all right, got to put together a full 60 minutes, and the Broncos just lucky. That's the one where they were lucky to get out here with the win at home, because they should have lost this game by probably double digits. They probably should have lost this game by double digits. It didn't happen. I don't have a ton of confidence in this Denver Broncos team, despite them being off to a 5-2 start.
No.
And honestly, if these two teams played this game 10 times, I would think they'd be pretty close to splitting it, if I'm being completely honest, because I think the Giants have enough firepower. They just are lacking a lot of that kind of in-between stuff. But the Broncos are skating by right now, and they don't look overly impressive to me. And yeah, they're winning games, but it's not instilling any confidence in me.
None at all. None at all. I mean, yeah, they're still a quarterback away, if you ask me. Still a quarterback away.
I would fully agree. They got some nice receivers there. They got a good defense, but
remember, that's what they were saying when Russ came. We're just a quarterback away. We're just a quarterback away, and this team's ready to go.
I'd imagine
otherwise.
Well, if I'm a Broncos fan, I'd rather have Jackson Dart than I would have Bo Nix right now. So,
Noah, do the Colts have a Monday night game at all this year? Do we know? Because if they do, I mean, they are going to just play the shit out of the Indiana Jones soundtrack the entire broadcast if it's on ESPN. Let me tell you, because Indiana Jones and the Colts seem to be here to stay. They go ahead and beat the Chargers 38-24. And Danny Dimes, Giants fans, look away. 23 for 34, 288 yards. Am I reading that right? Yeah, 288, 2-0. Two touchdowns.
Best record in the league.
Huh?
Best record in the league.
Oh, best record in the league. Yeah, with the with Indiana Jones behind him, Jonathan Taylor running for 94 yards. Dude, this team is disgusting. Like this team, we have said the last couple of years, if they can get it figured out, they've got the pieces there on defense. They've got some pieces there on offense. They go ahead and add Warren in the draft and everything, and he's having 69 yards this game. Nice, off 5 targets. I mean, bro, this team is efficient. Again, they spent the first 4 weeks not punting. They know how to score on offense. The defense knows how to hold a lead. I really like this Colts team. Not to say I don't like this Chargers team, but the Chargers the last couple of weeks just feel out of it. Almost like the air's been taken out of them with the Marion Hampton injury. And I mean, don't get me wrong, a big loss for them. Ollie Gordon not having a bad game. Not a lot of love out of Vidal, but they just feel deflated.
I'll say Ollie Gordon's on the Dolphins, but
huh? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Ollie Gordon's on the Dolphins, but
who the fuck's Gordon then? Gadsden. I can't fucking read, Noah.
But Chargers. I don't know what Harbaugh and Greg Roman are doing there, because it feels like
no idea.
Feels like they come in with a different offensive scheme every single game, and sometimes it works really well, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
I know their offensive line's super beat up. Their defense isn't the best in the league, so it's like they're trying to do whatever, but it's like they don't want to just like stick with something.
Yeah.
And maybe their game plan there is like, oh, we're not confident in anything, so we're going to try to like use the element of surprise and like not have a team ready to play for what we're doing against. But this defense has been regressing a little bit, and since their 3-0 start, and on the flip side of that, the Colts are doing everything well. They're just executing everything super well. And Shane Steichen, I think, is doing a tremendous job with what he has, because this Colts team is not a top 5, maybe not even a top 10 team roster-wise on paper. But again, they're executing everything super well. They're not turning the ball over. They're fluid. They're moving the ball downfield. They're scoring at least a field goal on almost every possession. And the defense is pretty decent. So it's like this is just a well-oiled machine, even though it doesn't have the highest quality, top-tier parts to it. This is a well-oiled machine that's been being run super well through 7 weeks for the Colts. And that's why we're seeing the success on the field for them. And then, like I said, with the Chargers on the flip side, it's like it feels like I don't know why they have a lack of identity, but they do, and
they do.
Feels like Harbaugh and Roman are just trying something new every single game.
Yeah, they don't even know what to do at this point. It's frustrating. It's got to be frustrating for Chargers fans too. I got to have my fun for a little bit. I had to. I had to get a shot in there because I don't get an opportunity a lot. But you and I both knew this fate was going to end up the same regardless of how the game started, Noah. And I'm glad that you and your dad had a good time at the stadium, probably celebrating that, having a fun fourth quarter.
It's about 60% Packers fans there.
We're never winning a football game again. 27-23, we had control. I mean, not control, but we were looking good going into the half. And then the most depressing thing about this game, Noah.
Lucas Hardrick hit a 61-yard field goal.
Yeah. The most depressing part about this, Noah, is coming out that we have a bye week next week, and that should be enough time for Kyler Murray to be healthy enough to be our starter again. You have a good time at the game, Noah?
I had a great time. Took an extra year or two off my life that I didn't need it to. But it's funny, as I'm driving there, my dad and I, we went to the game. He flew down for that, and I was like, oh, Kyler Murray's out. Okay, whatever. I'm like, yeah, this feels like a game that's going to be way tighter, way closer than it needs to be, because the Packers love to do that shit. And it sure as shit was, but despite the Cardinals leading most of this game, it never got out of hand, and it never got to a point where I was worried that the Packers were going to lose this. And I don't know if that's confidence that I have in the Packers, or I just was.
That's watching Cardinals football, Noah, because I did not have any confidence going into this game, and throughout the game, and we were leading this game.
Yeah, for most of it. That's probably more so.
For most of it, yeah. Don't forget that.
When I texted you late in the third quarter, and I said, thank God you guys don't realize there's 4 quarters in a game, and that has been the theme of the season for the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals would be 5-2, maybe 6-1 if every game ended at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, give or take, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so y'all just have a problem closing games out. Regardless of who's at quarterback, regardless of whatever, y'all just can't close. Like, because you've been in so many games, and the Cardinals have been in so many games. They've been tight games. They're not getting blown out by anybody. And they have opportunities every single game in the fourth quarter and just can't. I don't know what it is with this team, but it's the fourth quarter. It's the fourth quarter. That's your big thing. It's just can't close it out. You just play 3 really good quarters and then just say, fuck it in the fourth. And Yeah, glad the Packers got the win. Micah Parsons, 3 sacks,
Yeah.
4 quarterback pressures on top of those 3 sacks to add to it. So all you Cowboys fans, anybody else who's talking shit about Micah Parsons only having 2.5 sacks coming into this game, well, you got 5.5 now through 6 games. So, Micah unleashed specifically in the second half of this game, and I thought Jacoby Brissett played a nice game. I thought he played a nice game.
No, Jacoby Brissett is the best quarterback wearing Cardinals gear I've seen in the last 7 years.
Marvin Harrison Jr. did not drop balls. He actually had a couple really good clutch catches.
Yeah.
On third downs, and it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for the Cardinals. But again,
trade deadline's next week, right?
Huh?
Trade deadline's next week, isn't it?
Is it that soon?
Is it next weekend or the weekend after? I'm just saying because, like, you know, there's rumors about, like, some guys getting moved and stuff, and they're suddenly popping up on injury reports and everything.
Oh, Cardinals should absolutely now, after a 2-5 start, they should absolutely be, especially with Seattle, San Francisco, both at 5-2. Rams, Niners, and Seahawks all sitting at 5-2. I think.
All right,
Is Seattle 4-3?
Every team except the Arizona Cardinals is 5-2 in the NFC West. Noah.
Yeah, they should probably sell off for some draft picks at this point.
So here's what we do. All right, trade deadline is 2 weeks away from today. Okay, November 4th, November 4th. What time? 4 p.m. Eastern is the trade deadline. So we spend every single waking moment from now until the 4th making calls on any sucker that wants to take Murray. Any sucker. Give us all the draft picks. Give us any. Because besides him, Budda Baker is the only thing worth half a damn on this team that's not injured right now. And so, yeah, let's go ahead, sell off, give Gannon a fresh start next season. We're going to get a top 5 draft pick this year already. So let's go ahead and cash that in, get a new quarterback.
If you make the right trades, you could have 2 top 10 picks this year.
Exactly. So let's go ahead, ship it off, and it's not going to happen, though. It's definitely not going to happen, but I can dream, Noah. I can dream.
Which,
anyway.
You know, God, you hate to say just throw it, especially with how close the Cardinals, like I said, if like this team could be 500 or slightly above 500 right now if a couple of games just went slightly differently, a couple of drives went slightly differently.
Yeah.
So you hate to say, like, just sell off, tank, you know, or accumulate draft picks, but it feels like that's kind of the situation you're in if you're the Cardinals, is like, again, you're already probably going to have a top 10 pick this year unless things drastically turn around. And they could not have a top 10 pick if they really just, like, keep the roster intact and just decide, okay, we're actually going to go, you know, grind it out and get some wins, which would probably be the worst case scenario because they're not going to make the playoffs. So why ruin your draft stock at that point? Just say fuck it, throw in the towel this year, which sucks after 7 weeks. That's not what you want to do. But they're going to be better off in the future for it if that's what they decide to do, is just throw in the towel, make a couple trades, get some extra second round, even first round picks for the next draft or two, and then just rebuild this roster. Go out and draft another first round quarterback. There's should be plenty of good quarterback talent in the first round of this draft coming up. So,
and Road Dog to specify. Sorry, no. But yeah, Road Dog to specify which quarterback would I want? Someone over 6'1", who can run a little bit, but mostly throw the ball downfield, has some pocket awareness. That would be nice. As for top 3 in the draft next year, I mean, I think Mateer is going to have a good argument. I think Simpson's going to have a. Is Mateer not eligible?
I don't think Mateer is in your top 3. I honestly think the top guy that teams should be looking for maybe is Sawyer Robertson out of Baylor.
I'm fine with that.
I know Baylor's not going to have a great, like, they're going to be 7-5, 8-4, some shit like that. But you look at the amount of great quarterback talent we've seen from 7 or 8 win teams. I mean, Jaden Daniels, he went 8-4 with LSU. Yeah. Like, I think you look at pure passers, NFL ready guys. Sawyer Robertson's got to be Am I botching his name for Baylor?
No, isn't it Sawyer Robinson?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm second guessing
No,
myself.
Road Dogg was responding to something else.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I think if you're talking about an NFL team drafting a guy, he's got to be up there on your board. I think there's going to be some surprises that come up. If you're the Cardinals, you're not looking for it. But if you're another team who's just looking for maybe a future guy who could pan out, I think Diego Pavia has worked his way up into about a fifth, sixth, seventh round, a fifth to seventh round type of conversation, which would be interesting because I think Pavia is going to be an interesting a pickup for some team potentially in the day 3 of the draft. But yeah, Robertson's probably near the top of my board. Nussmeier, I think, has fallen. Klubnik's fallen. There's a couple good guys out there, but like when you're talking about translation to the NFL game, it's a little bit different than success on the college
for sure
field. So it'd be interesting to see, but I do think I do think this is a strong quarterback class.
I would agree. Stronger than last year for sure.
And Nussmeier still might be a decent pickup too. He'll get drafted in the first round, I imagine. Maybe worst case scenario, he slips to the second, but
not a draft slide like someone else we know. Keeping it moving, Noah. Commanders, Cowboys, belt to ass in Jerry World, 44-22. Commanders still very, very injured. And, man, dude, like, this offense for the Commanders seems to completely fall apart without Terry McLaurin. Like, without all of the eyes being on him, without, Jaden kind of having that safety blanket there. The run game kind of falls apart, and I don't know, man. It's not looking good for him right now. The defense clearly needs a little bit of help, but with how high-powered that Dallas Cowboys offense is, with CeeDee Lamb coming back this week too, that's going to be a hard task for any defense out there. And so I don't want to put all the blame on him on there, but CD came back and had himself a game. George Pickens still producing the way he's been producing this season. Dak Prescott being elite, I dare say. Cowboys offense looks incredible. Defense still brutally needs some help, but that offense is going to put up a lot of points.
Yeah. And that's why I've been sticking to my guns here, saying the Cowboys are going to be somewhere around 500. Because they might have the worst defense in the league. Bottom 3, I don't think a lot of people are going to argue that too much. This is a top 5 offense. When you inject CeeDee Lamb back into this is a top 5 fucking offense. I mean, Javonte Williams is having a hell of a year. This offensive line has been absolutely rebuilt over the last 2 or 3 years to when Dallas was a dominant offense previously. Dak is Dak, whatever, but CeeDee Lamb and now you got George Pickens playing the best that he has in his career. Like, this is an offense that can go out and score a lot of points on really good defenses. I'm not saying Washington is a really good defense, but this is an offense that can go out and score a lot of points on really good defenses. They're stuck in this weird limbo, though, of having a terrible defense themselves that can absolutely get picked apart in the secondary, especially with not having a pass rush, which really exposes the lack of man coverage ability with their DBs. We're going to have a lot of high-scoring games with the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of high-scoring games. They're going to win some. They're going to lose some. Came out on top on this one just fine. Again, I expect this team to finish right around 500 one way or the other. I think they just missed the playoffs by a game or 2. Or I guess a game and a half or 2 because of the tie.
They could go exactly 500, though, this season. No, that's a great pick right there. Sunday night.
Steelers only team to do that.
Sunday night football, Noah. San Francisco walks away with this one 22-10. Another kind of off night for the Falcons, but with the San Francisco 49ers team that is more injuries than can count. Still playing decent football. Mac Jones still in right now, 17-26, 152. 1 interception on the day. Christian McCaffrey getting it done. George Kittle quiet coming back off injury, but as McCormick pointed out, it is National Tight End Day next week, so please keep a lookout for George Kittle as he'll probably be going off. But listen, the Falcons just couldn't get the ball in the end zone. They didn't look half bad, and Penix didn't look half bad, but they just couldn't string together enough plays. I said half bad, Noah.
Yeah.
They just couldn't string together the plays. They couldn't get into a rhythm on offense. It felt like they would have some big plays, but then just kind of fall apart from there. The San Francisco defense is good. I liked how they played this week and think they can continue to stand up, especially if they can get healthier. But yeah, the Falcons 3-3 right now. I mean, I'm not worried about them or anything. I think they are going to continue being a 500 type team throughout the season with some very impressive games, but
we didn't expect this team to be a playoff team, so
no, we didn't. I guess a lot of other people did, though.
Yeah, Niners, they don't look pretty, but they continue to win games, and that's kind of been the MO the entire time Shanahan's been the coach there. Is even when they don't look great, they still seem to come out on top a lot.
Yeah,
and they're the most injured team in the league, and yet they're still churning out wins, and most of them are not pretty, but they're getting it done. They're sitting at 5-2. They've got themselves a chance. It could crumble apart quickly, that's for sure. But if they continue doing it, they might find themselves in the playoffs. Falcons, holy fuck. This is the most cardiac team in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
They look 180 degrees different every single week. And you do, like, I'm just going to stop betting on or against the Falcons entirely this season because they literally come out and look like a different fucking team every week. And it's like major swings too. It's not even like little things. So I don't know. They couldn't really get it. They were moving the ball. They just couldn't get it in the end zone in this one. Yep. But I don't know. You look at the Falcons' offense, I'm like, they could give you 0 points or they could give you 35. I don't know where we're going to land on that. Defense, they could hold the team to 13 or they could give up 40. I
know.
And that's just the range. And there's no method to the madness either. Like I said, they're the most cardiac team in the entire league. It's just like however the fuck the Falcons feel like playing any given week.
I get it. Monday Night Football, Noah, first game in the doubleheader. We are done with these finally. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 9, Detroit Lions 24 with the win in Detroit with the sick black jerseys. I'm a big fan of those ones. I truly believe this was the best defensive performance we have seen out of the Detroit Lions since Dan Campbell has taken over. I know. Huh?
And they had their top 4 DBs out for this one.
Yeah, exactly. Unbelievable stuff from.
Did Baker and the Buccaneers realize that, or like am I tripping? I know Mike Evans comes back from his hamstring injury, gets quickly severely injured again. I believe out for the season probably.
Out for 6 to 8 weeks, has a chance of coming back with a broken collarbone, in concussion protocol as well. But the collarbone, obviously, the biggest part there. So T's and P's there. Hope that recovery goes well for him. But no. I mean, yeah, that injury doesn't help. But I mean, even without that injury, the Lions defense was so locked in on this game. I mean, yeah, Baker threw 28 for 50 with 228 yards. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were able to pick up, chunk plays and stuff. But they were riddled with flags, a lot of flags on the Buccaneers in this one. And they, those big chunk plays were just to make up for the flags. And so, yeah, they'd pick up 13 yards, but they're still 3rd and 2 right there. And, and they're not past the 50. And when that happens, you're going to be put in a bad place, especially with how good the Lions offense is looking right now. Detroit is absolutely moving in the right direction. And now we're seeing a dangerous defense out of them. As you mentioned with the injuries, I'm getting a little scared of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget about what happened last week where they got absolutely torched by Kansas City.
But it looks like
dominated on both sides of the ball. I don't know what the fuck happened with Tampa Bay's offense in this game where, like, you come in thinking, right, And maybe the books knew something because the Lions were still hanging at a 6.5-point favorite going into this one. And I'm like, they're missing their top two corners and their top two safeties. I'm like, Baker should come in and just pick this defense the fuck apart. I was expecting 30-plus points minimum from Tampa Bay. They held to 9. I don't know what the fuck happened there. I know they're beat the hell up at receiver, but Bucky Irving out too. So Rashad White's still a really good running back. Emeka Egbuka does end up playing in this game. Wasn't a huge factor.
No.
This was the best game the Lions have put together all season.
Yeah.
This was the best game on both sides of the ball that the Lions put together all season. They get a nice win at home. I'm still not absolutely sold on this Lions team. I think this defense is shaky. They obviously played a really good game in this one. Offense seems to be clicking. Lions obviously a very good team, but we'll see how it plays out. Tampa Bay finally gets bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the amount of time that the amount of times they've been in control of a football game has been very slim this entire year. I'm saying they've been in a lot of games and they've won a lot of games. They just haven't hardly ever been in control of any games, and this didn't change. So I don't know. I feel like Tampa Bay is going to need a stroke of. They'll be a playoff team. They're going to need a stroke of magic once they get to the playoffs, so to string together 4 wins to win a Super Bowl, and I don't really see that happening.
No, probably not. But I like this Buccaneers team a lot still. Final game on Monday Night Football, Noah, late as fuck. Houston Texans, Seattle Seahawks. Texans lose this one 19-27. Sam Darnold not seeing ghosts still. Still not as great of a completion rating as probably he was hoping for. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Cooper Kupp getting involved in the interception fest as well. But the Texans just couldn't figure it out. CJ Stroud with an interception. They also had a couple other turnovers. God, did we? I mean, no, I'm going to rephrase that. The Texans' problem, after the whole oohs and ahs and dismay of CJ Stroud coming into the league year 1 and teams actually being able to, study him now and how this team operates and realizing that the defense ain't it all cracked up to be, it feels like the Texans are more starting to, what am I trying to say? Feel the repercussions of the decisions they made on offense, and which is not a good thing, not a bad thing. It's just the way football goes. But if your offense isn't performing, so much that your defense can't cover up for it, you're in a dangerous spot. And that's where the Texans are finding themselves right now.
They have no run game.
That doesn't help either. Yeah. Nick Chubb. I mean, between their 2 running backs, they had what? Is that 31 yards?
They have no run game. And if you remember to last year, what kept them afloat was handing the ball 28 to 30 times to Mixon every game. And Mixon had one of the better seasons in the league for running backs last year. And Mixon, obviously, he's injured. He hasn't been quite back yet. Should be coming back soon.
Yeah.
But coming off of that injury, are they going to feel comfortable just ground and pounding with Mixon again? Because if you remember his last season in Cincinnati, Mixon wasn't doing super hot. And then you got a little revitalization going to Houston. It feels like they're kind of stuck in this pass-first offensive approach, and it's not really working that well. The defense is playing the best that it has in the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years for Houston. This game being kind of the outlier for the season, but their defense has been playing really well. And I think it's a little bit shocking that the offense is the weak part of this team. And granted, yeah, they give up a lot more points in this game than they have all season. I believe they only gave up 60-something points in the 5 games leading up to this one. So they're giving up less than 16 points a game coming into this. But they got to figure some shit out. I don't think the season's completely over for the Texans, despite being at 2-4. I know if they won this game, they would have been the 8th team ever to start 0-3 and then get to a 3-3 record. I still think this team can muster out a record that's over 500 this year. It's going to be tough, and they're going to have to rapidly figure some shit out. But I don't think the season's over quite yet for Houston. If you're Seattle, you got to be happy about the way your team's playing right now. I mean, this is about as good as you could ask for Seattle right now. You know, if you're a Seahawks fan, if you're in that Seahawks organization, you're a player, it's like, all right, just keep it going. Keep it going.
Keep it moving, baby. Keep it moving strong, and we'll see how it goes. But that's all in the NFL, college football, NBA, and MLB. We did a lot tonight, Noah. You got anything else before we sign off and get ready for our bets tomorrow?
No, that's all I got.
Perfect. Well, we will be live tomorrow. I need to, dude, I was a long day. I need to go to sleep. We will be live tomorrow night. We will be going over our Week 8 NFL picks, Week 9 college football picks for the week. You're not going to want to miss that. And to make sure you don't miss it, if you like what we're cooking, please hit that like button, hit the follow button. Does help us out a lot more than you know. But with all that being said, I'm the Brofict one, AJ. That's the Money Train, Noah. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Degenerate Takes.